He's got so many good points about it too. And Richard, Richard's got always some good points too, where it's just like we've moved on. We've moved on.
It's the only technology that has been allowed to remain a shitty technology. It'd be like us still using beta today going, beta is so cool. It was the first medium of video that we could watch. Why are we not all watching Betamax still?
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Sure.
And it's ridiculous for people in technology to be acting this way, to be forcing shit technology down people's throats and calling it the king.
Well, it's just them. It's just them, it's just them trying to pump their own bags. Like, that's what I see it as.
Well, of course.
Like, you don't want your bags to continue. I mean, when you've got let's say you've got 100 or 1,000 coins. I don't know how much that is even worth right now. A couple million, $10 million. It's like, you don't want that to go down to, you don't want that to go down at all. But
and it's like, it's like what they're trying to do right now with Bitcoin is like we take that Betamax, right? And I don't know if any of you guys sitting here understand what a Betamax is or remember what a Betamax is, but it was VCR, before VCR was VCR. So, but it's like taking that Betamax and plugging in a gold-plated USB to it and saying, okay, now it's better. Whoa, look who's here. Yeah.
What's up, y'all?
It's old tech.
How are you in my room?
Did you get invited?
You're in trouble, Hexo.
This is illegal.
For people that don't get the inside joke, someone snuck on my stream one time.
Oh,
using a link
no.
Another guest
You see my background, Richard? You see my background?
I see that. I like it, dude. You're saving energy.
Yeah.
That's a good camera you got that can light you up with just 2 candles, man.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very nice.
Can you finish that? Maybe Richard can make a comment about the value of Bitcoin, let's say 5 years from now. And I'm not saying dollar value, but as far as like people were trying to hate on you today or yesterday about saying, what's the utility of HEX? This reporter that was dweebing on you or whatever. But my question is, I like the utility of the fact that it pays out an interest in HEX, but I don't see Bitcoin having that as a utility. I don't see any of the other reasons about Bitcoin specifically in 5 years having value. Is this an old mode of the earliest collectible token in a new financial system, or what do you think of Bitcoin in 5 years?
So the Bitcoin narrative has changed over time, which I was watching the stream earlier and I saw you allude to. I'll elaborate on a little bit. Originally Bitcoin was meant to be peer-to-peer digital cash. It was meant to be used. And, instead of having to use PayPal and credit cards, you're supposed to be able to use Bitcoin. Failed entirely, 100% failure. Now 42% of all coins sit in only 2,000 addresses. People that used to accept it stopped accepting it. And that's to some degree tragic and the result of not everyone having a wallet installed. And I don't think you will see that type of adoption until, millions and millions and millions of people have wallets on their phones, and then you might see more utility in that way. And when you have something that drops 65, 75% in 2 weeks, it's hard to use that as a retailer, right? So it's like, okay, you accepted some Bitcoin, you better liquidate it for cash immediately, or you might not be able to pay your suppliers. You might be bankrupt. So there's a lot of difficulty that goes into getting that use case to actually adopt. So then the narrative just changed. And then the narrative was, okay, we're programmable money. Oh yeah? Programmable money? Okay. So tell me about some of the programs. Can you set an alarm clock, have Bitcoin wake you up? Nope. Can you program your Bitcoin to send to somebody else at a certain time? Nope. Can you what the fuck? What can you program it to do? You really can't program it to do anything. The only 2 features they added were time locking, which doesn't pay you any interest, so barely anyone uses it, and no normal people use it. You have to basically build your own wallet for the most part to use it. Maybe there's like one wallet somewhere that might support it, but I don't even know what it would be called. And then they added multi-sig. Okay, once again, nobody uses it. Only an enterprise uses it. Say again?
Lipstick on a pig.
Well, I mean, it's useful if you're an enterprise, but what percentage of the participants in the ecosystem are enterprises and have their own development team to try and use these things safely? And you can lose money doing development. You know, people, the biggest mistake people make in developing on Bitcoin is they don't realize that every transaction has a change address. And if you don't program the transaction to send your change back to yourself or a new address which you control, that it's given as a fee to the miners. And so people trying to build on top of Bitcoin, lose millions of dollars not sending their change back to themselves and just donating it to the miners. So, you know, and then we had one throughput increase, which was called SegWit, which just made the network a little bit more efficient and a little bit safer. So you could like name a transaction and the transaction would have a name, and then that name wouldn't change. It would stay the same name. So you could see like, hey, did this thing really go through or not? But back before SegWit, you'd like send a transaction and then you would never know if it really went through or not because it could have changed its name and went through and you wouldn't have noticed. It's called transaction malleability. So that narrative of, hey, we're going to be digital currency, you know, everyone's going to use us, failed entirely. There's less ATMs, less people accepting it than there were 2 years ago. And that's not how technology adoption goes. Technology adoption just goes up. It's like, okay, how many cell phones are there this year? A shitload more than last year. And how many were there last year? A shitload more than the year before. It only goes up. So in a technological innovation, you really don't want to see like backwards progress. It's a very weird, you know, how many people have emails now? More than last year. So programmable money, nope, didn't work out. Digital currency didn't work out. So the last narrative that's left is the digital gold narrative, which is a nice one because it's the most valuable one. You know, digital gold is worth more than a payment network. Digital gold is worth more than printed currency. You know, store of value is worth more than these things. Well, why? Because if you're a payment network, someone buys your token, moves it, and then someone else sells it. So you have one buy and one sell. Okay, well then they cancel each other out. Price is basically backward started, except for the float of people, you know, kind of filling up their bags to play that game. Whereas with digital currency, store of gold, people buy in, they store their value in it, and then there's no sell. So you just have buys and no sells, and then, you know, you have maximum price appreciation, which is why gold is worth more than PayPal and worth more than most things. I mean, it's worth trillions of dollars, right? I don't know, some number of trillions, yes, maybe 11 trillion. So when you look at what it's cryptocurrency is so funny to me because there's this 4-panel comic which goes only vertically, and it's like, you know, this level of smarts, and it has like a picture of a brain like glowing. Then it has like the next level where the brain's glowing more. Then it has the next level where the brain's glowing even more. And then you have like a galaxy brain, which is like the number 4 panel. And Bitcoin's kind of that. It's like everyone bought it because it was, you know, digital currency, peer-to-peer, didn't work out. And then they bought it because it was programmable money, didn't work out. And they bought it because it was digital gold, which worked out for a lot of people, but it didn't work out if you bought 2 years ago. I mean, it was 20K then, and it was just 3K 2 months ago. So like, you know, 85, 75% drops, they're not so nice for your digital gold bag. And then the last one, the Galaxy Brain one might be like, maybe the price went up because everyone else bought, and maybe everyone had their own excuse and their own narrative and their own reason why they bought. And maybe if people keep buying, the price will go up. And if they stop buying, the price will go down. So like if you look at the Bitcoin price chart on regular, like non logarithmic, on just like linear, you see a giant ass bubble and then doom, and then a little mini giant bubble and then doom. And like in theory, you could really draw another little mini bubble and then more doom. Like you could make the case that Bitcoin could go back to $1,000 or $800 because people just got tired of buying it. And there's nothing that anyone could say that would make that not the case. And it would, even if you're like into fractals, if you look at what happened when CME launched the gold product in the 70s, gold fucking died for a long time. And okay, well, now we have Bitcoin on the CME. And where's Paul Tudor Jones buying it on the CME? Is he taking physical delivery? No. Is he really participating in Bitcoin at all? No. He's using the CME as his counterparty. So if you wanted to be bearish and have those narratives, you could have them. I'll give you the bullish narratives. The bullish narratives are, Bitcoin pumped back when people were just printing money like crazy. So it was a good macro environment. Okay, well, now people are printing money like crazy again. So maybe it's a good macro environment. Now, I tend to think that the pumping needs a little while to really ramp up, right? Like right now, the pumping is just canceling out money that's missing out of the economy due to people not having as much work. Once that work comes back, then you would see inflated prices and, the negative side effects of all this money printing. So it's really a question of once you understand that everyone buys their crypto bag because they believe some narrative, and then that's the only reason these things really go up, and that's it. So it's just like if you're a technical analyst, right? You're like, okay, trend lines is like your first level. You're like, all right, bounces off these lines, cool. And then you're like, indicators, all right, we're gonna get moving averages, right? And then you're like, okay, now we're gonna get into the MACD and all this stuff. And then you're like, Galaxy Brain is just like, yeah, just trend lines again. Or it's like,
yes,
right. And then
that's how I do it on my stream too.
Dude,
you can tell I'm like, oh, one day I'll do indicators, one day I'll do resistances and supports, and
I just
we're just throwing this out.
Here we go again.
Because you fall for these appeals to complexity, right? Like you think, oh, because it's more complicated, it has to be better. Like you're like, actually, no. Like usually the more complicated shit isn't better. Like usually the simpler shit's better. Or like the Bruce Lee saying, don't fear the man that's practiced 10,000 techniques. Fear the man that's practiced like one kick 10,000 times, Exactly. This is like the longest answer in the world to what someone thinks about the Bitcoin price. it's like a dissertation. On
we can use long answers right now.
We got 14 hours.
How many more hours to go?
I got 14 hours left. It's all good.
Yeah, I got balls, but 24-hour streams gonna be pain, dude. You're gonna really. You're gonna regret drinking your energy drinks early. You're gonna wish you could save them for later.
I'm keeping them going. I'm just gotta keep it. If you guys see me stroke out here on stream, you might want to call the paramedics.
Richard, your story had been, or not your story, but I was asking, the narrative 2 years ago was you should get it now because institutions will get it later.
Yep.
And they're going to buy your bags. And Novogratz and all these other people that basically comment about it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Well, is that, in your opinion,
it did come true. That did happen, but they also then just sold their bags. So everyone, like institutions, bought the shit out of Bitcoin before the CME launched. Yep. And then the day the CME launched, the price dumped. It's never been back there since. Yep. So institutions did buy the fuck out of it and make a lot of money. And then they sold that shit. The Mt. Gox trustee sold that shit. He sold 8,000, 9,000, dumped it hard. He sold, I think, 40,000 Bitcoin. So like, yeah, it did actually happen. But so the narrative was, and I thought it was a great narrative. Hey guys, we're the early adopters. We got in before Wall Street, and now Wall Street's going to get in before an ETF and get in before Main Street. And then, okay, everything's going to work out fine. But then the ETF is not going to happen because there's too much risk. Like the Securities and Exchange Commission is just like, why do we want people to have this 65, 75% down in a day bullshit? Why? They don't see the upside to it. We're lucky the CFTC likes it as a commodity because we get to be on all these exchanges and such. But once again, is that luck? I mean, if it gets killed like gold got killed, gold still isn't anywhere near its high from 2011. It's fucking 10 years later. It's still down 30% or 20% from 2011. And it sucks to be like accurate and truthful about these things because all of crypto's price is going to go up if Bitcoin prices go up because all these things trade against Bitcoin. So all of the Bitcoin that's in the pairs trading against other cryptocurrencies, it means that when Bitcoin becomes more valuable, since you can exchange other coins for it, those other coins become more valuable as well. And as long as all these things are interchangeable, the biggest one that everything's traded against going up in value pushes everything else up. So I would prefer to live in a world where Bitcoin is extremely valuable and doing wonderful things and having good development and getting anonymity added to it. And, you know, I hope that that ecosystem thrives and becomes amazing. So it sucks that in order to be truthful about my market sentiment, you know, I have to say things that are like, you know, hey, the price will go up if people keep buying it, but they don't have to keep buying it. Like there's no, the only appeal to owning Bitcoin for most people is that the price is going to go up, and that's enough. I mean, it doesn't have to cure cancer. It doesn't have to, you know, take care of your kids. It just has to be a place where people can store value. And if more people store value there over time, then the price can keep going up until we're dead, right? Like there's a lot of people out there. Like what percentage of people are onboarded to Bitcoin compared to how many could be? It's a very low percent. So you could continue to onboard more and more of the world and have appreciation, and you would be dead before you ran out of appreciation until the top of the S curve, right? Because everything is an S curve. So because you run out of energy, right? You either run into friction or you just run out of energy in the local universe that you're in. So everything is an S curve. So back to what I think Bitcoin's price will do. I think COVID has done damage to the economy, and that damage was likely to happen whether COVID happened or not, because we have a cyclical, everything turns to shit every 10 years, pump and dump, excess capital, boom and bust cycle. So we were due for a bust anyway. Now maybe they've printed so much that they've changed the bust problem into an inflation problem 2 years from now. Nobody knows. You know, when you see Naval or Balaji or Buffett talking about what they're doing, they're liquidating now and waiting for deals is what they're doing. Those guys aren't too stupid, you know? And I mean, when the fuck have we seen the prices of real estate drop? Like, aren't we due? Isn't shit too expensive? And isn't all these old people that own on the real estate, isn't all of those guys dying off going to cause some things to hit the market? So I mean, I wouldn't buy real estate right now. I'd hope for a better price, because you're due one cyclically and you're due one from all these dead old people. So, right. And then that has babies being born. Well, there will be a lot of babies being born because everyone was having sex during a lockdown, except the lonely crypto dudes.
And us married guys.
Oh yeah, and the married guys hiding in the garage, waiting for it to end.
She don't want. She's plotting my murder right now.
Just don't ever get life insurance. Have a prenup and never get life insurance, dude. So I mean, I think sure Bitcoin could go make new all-time highs. So here's the thing people don't understand about crypto. HEX went and doubled its price in a single fucking candle because some old school Ethereum whale decided he wanted to buy then in a single order. Could anyone in the world have predicted that? I don't think so. I really don't. And then Bitcoin kind of acts the same way. Someone could push Bitcoin up to 20 or 30K a coin if they wanted to over a short period of time, if they were a large enough whale. So like if some billionaire decides in his brain, oh yeah, you know, Bitcoin, love it, he could just pump the price hard as fuck, just like the Ponzi schemes did. Bitcoin went from 3K to 14K on the plus token Chinese Ponzi. Period. That's it. So any Ponzi could come along and do that. Any billionaire could come along and do that. So all of these, like all this talking about the actual real world utility of Bitcoin and shit, it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. But really, is someone going to buy this shit is what really makes the price go up, you know? So like, it's like trying to analyze the HEX market. You know, you've got $10 million liquidity on Uniswap. And something I hear so often that just drives me fucking crazy. Just drives me crazy. People are like, but there's 200 billion HEX. What if someone wanted to sell them all? Like, bro, what if someone wanted to sell all of anything? What if someone wanted to sell all the houses at once, you stupid fuck you? Like anything in the world that anybody wants to sell all of it is going to dump like fuck. Like your question's retarded. What if everyone wanted to sell all of the stocks in the world? The fucking price would go near zero for everything. So everything in the world that has a functioning market has liquidity as a percentage of the total value. And so if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's market cap's about 160 billion. And it's more than that. It's like 164 or something. So Bitcoin's market cap's 164 billion. If you add up all of the bid support and all of the order books to move the price 10% down, it's less than $1 billion. And that includes some fake ass bullshit order books. Like that is not legit, right? So if you add up like the real order books with real fucking money that doesn't disappear when you chip into their bid, you know, you probably have less than half of that, or maybe a quarter of that. So whenever liquidity is not the value of your product or market. Okay. Liquidity is how much food you can fit in your mouth at once. It controls the rate at which you can eat. It does not control how much you can eat, because you can eat forever, right? So liquidity affects how quickly price can move and how much energy it takes to move it, but it does not affect whether something is going to go up or down, right? So if you had infinite liquidity and anyone ever does is sell, price is going down. If you have if you have infinite liquidity, the price can't move.
Yeah.
But if you have a lot of liquidity, then the price moves slower. And if you have little liquidity, the price moves quicker. So why do I say this? Because one, Hex is liquid as fuck. Like if you go to coinpaprika.com that has liquidity as a column on its front page, which nobody else has. CoinMarketCap just added a liquidity feature. CoinMarketBook sucks and kind of has a liquidity feature as their main thing. So if you rank all of the top 100 cryptocurrencies by their liquidity, Hex is in the top 2/3. It's like I think it's number 70 maybe. And the difference is this is real liquidity that you could actually sell into, because the majority of it's on chain, and that's the most honest and open liquidity in the world. Whereas all these other order books, you don't know if those bids are real. Those could be, total bullshit. You have no idea. Your price gets near that order disappears. That shit rarely happens in Hex, right? Like you start selling, the liquidity stays there, right? It's like the bids and asks don't get pulled. The liquidity providers don't seem to change their status very often. So I think that if you want the best cryptocurrency in the world, then you want one that pays people to hold instead of paying them to dump. So Bitcoin miners get paid to dump, and then they use that money that they got from dumping to pollute the environment. That's the security model, period. That sucks. It's not good. So that's superior. You want people to be rewarded for the right behavior. You refer people, good. You deserve some money. Okay. You delay gratification and virtually lend the value of your coins to the other people by staking. Then that's positive intention, right? That's what the economy is based on. That's what the time value of money is. So Hex is the first cryptocurrency in the world to monetize the time value of money the same way that banks do. Is that valuable? Well, I think so, because $7.2 trillion in the United States and China is in that system of time deposits. So yeah, I think the world has agreed that is awesome and something people should do. So we got that. 13-second blocks beats the fuck out of 10-minute blocks. Cheaper fees beats the fuck out of more expensive fees. More diverse mining ecosystem beats the fuck out of every miner in China. Being able to speed up your transactions, lovely. There's just so many on-chain exchange where you're not sending selfies and begging people to let you have your money again. That's disgusting. And that's what Bitcoin created. Bitcoin created new middlemen that hold your identity hostage and hold your money hostage, and then lose your identity. And it gets used for, taking out fake loans in your name and setting up accounts on other exchanges and such. That is not good. That's not the opposite of why crypto was invented. And Bitcoin does nothing to address it. Nothing. And it never will, because it's not designed to. It's just a dumb network that says, here's a value. You can take your value down and make someone else's value go up. We call it sending. All right. So you had more coins, you sent them, they have less, and that guy has more. That's it. That's the only thing the network does. Well, that sucks, right? We want to get rid of exchanges. We want to get rid of people that take your private keys and offer you yield. and then they lose your private keys and never pay you back. We want to get rid of all that shit. And Hex does that. Hex gets rid of those fucking middlemen, gets rid of the exchange middlemen, is the most liquid coin in the world in on-chain exchange, except for Ethereum. And the only coin in the world that pays you based on how long you've locked your coins and gives the market more data about the future so that it can do price discovery better. You know, when in Hex, you can time your stake to end when other people's aren't. And that reduces, you know, supply at those levels. And then if price is related to supply, having everyone's supply spread out more evenly instead of having systematic shocks, it's a superior system. It doesn't exist anywhere else in crypto. You know, Hex invented it. So
it's freaking awesome.
There's so many good things about Hex that people just don't see, and it just blows my mind. These losers, like, I'll give you an idea about a loser. Okay. Here's the thing that makes me sad.
Yeah.
These people, they're not technically losers, right? They're just smart enough to fuck this up. Like, you know, the galaxy brain thing where like, yeah, simple, harder, actually simple was best. That's the how that works. Take Charlie Lee. Charlie Lee's probably not a retard. Worked at Coinbase, you know, forked Bitcoin. And what did he do when he forked Bitcoin? He changed the proof of work from SHA-256 hashing to scrypt hashing. Scrypt hashing is memory hard, and so it's a little bit more ASIC resistant, although the ASIC guys figured it out. And that's okay. Okay, fine. You want to make a fork of Bitcoin that has different proof of work, that's fine. Now, is there any innovation in that? Absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing at all. You took one proof of work and replaced it with another one. And I can list you 10 other coins that just replace those proof of works with different ones. There's nothing innovative in that at all. And then what's the value of that cryptocurrency? Top 10 market cap. Does anyone actually use it? Not really. Does anyone use it for shopping? Not really. Does it have any innovative features whatsoever? No. Does it even have much development going on? No, right? But here's a guy that calls Hex a scam. So let's compare Litecoin and Hex, right? Can you trade Litecoin on on-chain exchange? I've never seen it. And if there is, there's no volume. Okay, so Hex has a more vibrant and thriving ecosystem there. Can you time lock your Litecoin? No. Has there been any interesting development that wasn't copy-pasted from the Bitcoin devs? Nope. Well, what a piece of shitcoin, right? Like, how dare these fuckers step and speak to something that's truly innovative and is outperforming in price and has like a brighter future ahead of it. Like, I just, and when they come out and they say this stupid shit like Hex is a scam because they don't understand it, it sucks because it's really hard to get them to switch on that, right? Because now he's come out and said Hex is a scam. So now I'm going to call him a dickhead. And now he's never going to be like, oh, actually, I was wrong. It wasn't a scam. Partly because he's got a big bag of whatever the fuck. I don't even think he has a bag of Litecoin. I mean, he said he sold it. Maybe he bought back in. I don't know. So like, I wish that the smart people in crypto were just a little bit smarter to have looked beyond the marketing hype and read the fucking white paper and read the code and understand the amazing technical innovations that are in Hex, because then they wouldn't have had to missed out on maybe the opportunities of their lifetime, price performance wise, fucked over all their followers, and then forevermore been on the wrong side. And like now, you know, I'll probably be calling Charlie a fucking retard for a good long while now because he said that stupid shit. And if he just had been a little bit more educated, then I could have not have had to have been mean to him. Now, there's another way to do this, right? The other way to do this is that we could pretend that these guys are always really on the team. So like the Mormon style. It's like, okay, yeah, you're insulting us and you know, all this shit, but you'll eventually come around and it's fine. We could do it that way too, right? It's probably better to do it that way, right? Because if someone's got a bag of Litecoin right now and I called a Litecoin founder a fucking retard, he's probably not going to want to buy a bag of Hex, right? But
you did call him a fucking retard too, by the way.
Well, he's a fucking retard. So, I mean, if you call something a scam and it's not, you're a stupid fuck. Like, it's really that easy. Like, I'm sorry that you hit the edge case of in crypto calling everything a scam is usually a good bet because there's so much shit out there. But when I'm the guy that invented it, motherfucker, you don't respect me? You never heard me speak? I didn't invent some bullshit. I invented something amazing. And if you didn't have the respect for me to understand that, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. I mean, the trail of bodies left behind me It's everybody. Everybody that's ever spoken to me and come to fucking disagree with me has died a terrible death on stream. Like, like if you disagree with me, man, you really better be careful about that, because it seems like that's a recipe for fucking failure. Really,
it's been like watching Tyson. That's for damn sure.
It's Tyson.
They just don't learn.
It's just fucking drama. I love it. So awesome.
I don't get it. Like, what? And they're just dying to have the same conversation with me. You're like, bro, I've had the same conversation 50 times. Yeah. I am going to win this. You might want to try a different tactic. Like you might.
So that brings me to a question, Richard, that I want to ask you right now. How does it feel to finally be on a stream with people that are actually not calling you a fucking scammer and trying to bash you?
It's weird. I'm not used to it, actually.
You're like, you're piece of... Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Fuck all you guys.
There's no one, like there's no one queuing up to like share screen. It's like, share screen. Yeah. Why is this guy trying to share my screen?
That's
Was
funny.
he really trying to get you to share your screen?
Yeah. Yeah, that guy at the Anon Summit literally tried to share my screen, and I had no warning of what they were doing.
Wow.
So I thought it was going to be friendly.
By the way, on Twitter.
That's insane.
Well, anybody that, and immediately anyone that says anything to him on Twitter, he says, "You're not really you. You're another fake account of Richard." Yeah. So that's your go-to tactic, is to deny the identity of anyone that speaks out against you. Well, man, there must be a lot of fake Richards, because I've seen about 200 comments calling you stupid. So are these 200 fake Richards calling you stupid? Yeah. So there's a saying that's like, if you wake up in the morning and you go out into the world and you meet an asshole, okay, maybe you met an asshole. But if you go out in the morning, you go out into the world and you meet like 100 assholes, actually you're the asshole. So lawyers that have brains, they don't defame and speak without evidence and do things that are actionable. Like, I could sue that guy for libel and slander, like, easily. And I could do that to probably 100 different people.
I was going to say, there's a bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But, from my perspective, it's like, okay, do I want to, okay, so now I've got a judgment. So I win. Okay. I win. And now I've got a judgment against this guy. And he's a fucking wrecked pleb who doesn't have any money anyway. So now I have an uncollectible judgment. And what am I going to do with an uncollectible judgment? I just wasted my money. Right.
Wasted time.
So it's just for the most part, it's only financially intelligent to sue people that have enough money that it's worth getting from them. Right. I mean, or I could just do it as like be careful how you speak. Right. And that's what Craig Wright did. So Craig Wright's a scamming piece of shit, but he found it to be effective to dampen other people's speech, the chilling effect, through threatening to sue people. And so some people that might have spoken out against him more harshly didn't, because they were afraid of being sued, because there's a cost to it, right? Like, he sues you and then you have to defend yourself, and then he drops a suit. You don't get your money back. You just lost money defending yourself. So he lost money and you lost money, but he doesn't mind because he's scamming, but you mind because what are you getting out of the deal, right? Speaking the truth out. Like, so, which is why I'm maybe one of the few people to actually call him out in person and online, right? Because I don't mind. It's like, you can sue me if you want, dude. I don't mind. Yeah. You're gonna lose. So I think, I wonder, as Hex ages, how many of these fucking idiots turn around and we're like, oh yeah, actually, I was wrong. That shit's pretty cool. Because I used to call Ethereum a piece of shit all the time. And then Ethereum changed, and now it's good. Okay, well, I changed my mind, right? How many other people are willing to learn? I wonder.
Not all of them.
Makes me wonder.
I have a question, Richard, about Uniswap. So before Hex was its adoption date, its snapshot date, and everything like that, were you already aware of Uniswap and its potential, or was that
no idea? I had no idea.
Wow.
And then
I had no idea.
The question I have is, you're a security expert. You obviously looked at Uniswap because HexDex points to that as a system. And my question is, when you analyzed it and you said it's a smart contract on top of a Hex contract, I assume, maybe I'm using the wrong terms, but is it really locked? Is it really immutable? Is that liquidity, safe, basically, is my question?
Well, you've got, so security is not an absolute There is nothing that is infinitely secure. Right. If you write something down on a piece of paper, house could catch on fire. If you put it in a fire lock safe, atomic bomb could get you. If you know, so like everything, including your bank account, including the dollar, including your physical heart, all of these things can fail. And so the question is, what is the likelihood of their failure? So Uniswap is audited by intelligent people. And if you read the audit, it looks good. You know, security researchers attacked it and pointed out some vulnerabilities that people have lost money on because they didn't read the audit. So it says like, you can't use this for ERC 721s. And then somebody launched an ERC 721 using it and lost money. And you're like, hey, the audit right here a year ago said you can't do that. And then you did it. So how stupid are you? You know? And then other people used it as an oracle for margin trading. And they'll tell you, you can't use this as an oracle for margin trading because it's very easy to manipulate the price for, you know, one block. You can borrow a lot of money, manipulate the price for one block, win your trade, and then push the price back down to where it belonged and just kill the margin trading systems that don't use the time-weighted average price. So whoever the liquidity providers are there obviously believe in the security of the system, or else they wouldn't put $10 million of liquidity on there. That's my guess. And now there's a Uniswap V2, and it is also audited and uses a different smart contract language. So the original Uniswap uses Viper, which is Python-like in its syntax. And the new Uniswap uses Solidity, which is JavaScript-like in its syntax. And I think maybe 20% of liquidity has moved from all of the coins on Uniswap from V1 over to V2. They actually have a dashboard that will show you that number. It's migrate.uniswap.info. You can see how many coins have moved over. And the question is, I mean, anytime there's a new system, you want to let other people find the bugs. So you've had audits. Okay, great. Okay. But maybe the fucking audit missed something, right? Which is why HEX didn't get one audit. It got 3 audits. It got 2 security audits and 1 economics audit because we fucking cared that it works the right way. It never has to be changed because it can't be changed, right? How many other things have had 3 audits? None I can think of off the top of my head. Extremely rare, if any other thing ever has. So that liquidity will move over from V1 to V2 because V2 has more features. It has flash loans where you can borrow as much coins as you want as long as you repay them at the end of the transaction. So you can do arbitrage and other financial chicanery without having money to start with. So you're just with your transaction fee, you can borrow as much of any coin as you want that's on the system, as long as you pay it back at the end. And so if you find some way to do arbitrage that is profitable, you can pay to run that transaction, borrow the money to do it, repay it at the end of the transaction with the profit, and your only cost was the transaction fee. So maybe it cost you $1 to do the transaction. So you could borrow $100 million or something. And it's like, it's new and amazing and very, very interesting. There's other features like time-weighted average price that allow margin trading systems to use it as a price oracle that should make liquidity providers want to switch over to the new system. So, but it's not really a rush, right? It's like, you know, HEX text and win just points to V1. And right now, most liquidity for HEX is on V1, like 99% of it or 95%. So, you know, it's not a rush to move. But as margin trading products come out and as people find interesting ways to use flash loans, then you probably would want to see more liquidity providers move over. So your question as to how secure is the money in liquidity providers in Uniswap, the answer is it's as secure as those contracts are written well and audited well. That's the answer. So if those contracts were written well, which they were, and if those audits were done well, which to me they appear to have been, Well, that's the best you can hope for. I mean, other than you could do what Hex did and just get more audits. Like, okay, let's get more, right? That's the only thing you can do to try and make it more secure. And by the way, Bitcoin's had no audits, 0. So how secure is your money in Bitcoin?
Another thing I noticed was so I was telling earlier that I took crumbs because I forgot about a wallet that used to have money in it, but then of course collapse of 17 crashed all that. So I didn't want to look at that wallet for quite some time. And then I looked today and I was like, oh, I've got like a little bit of money in here, like crumbs, but I have some money. Let me turn it into HEX. And so before I would have had to go to Binance or some other kind of, centralized exchange. And I started to go through the whole process again to do that. And I just kept running into these different choke points. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe just look at Uniswap. And I noticed, oh, well, and actually the rate was better because of whatever reason on Uniswap to take those crumbs and turn them into HEX than it would have been to go send it to an exchange and then take, maybe ETH or something and put it back into a method on AA or other tools to get HEX. So I just noticed that, and I was like, I think I trust those tools of hexdex.win and the decentralized, these types. Yeah, better.
It's way more secure. You never lose custody of your coins. You never have to beg someone, please send me my money back. Please send me my money back. You never have to beg. But if you're in crypto and you use centralized exchanges, you will at some point have to beg, and it is disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. Yep. And they lose they get rid of your security. They get rid of your anonymity. They're basically your enemy for the most part. So like centralized exchanges are just horrible, absolutely horrible. And anything that can be done to replace them with peer-to-peer decentralized custody-free, where you stay in control of your coins, it's perfect. So if you send your coins to an exchange and it doesn't work out, you got to beg for them back. If you try and do an exchange on Uniswap and it doesn't work out, you still have your coins. It didn't go through. Fine. You still have your coins. You can still do whatever you want, right? Oh, the transaction timed out. You still got your coins. The slippage, the price moved too far, and your default, 0.1 or 0.5% additional slippage limiter at the bottom there in red that most people probably never even click. Okay, it didn't go through. Fine, right? You can change those numbers. You can rerun the transaction. Your coins are still your coins. It's very fucking hard to lose. I mean, nearly impossible to like lose control of your coins in that system because it never takes your coins unless everything worked. So it's like
awesome.
It's amazing. If to be the best cryptocurrency, we want to make things more efficient by getting rid of middlemen. Who are the middlemen? The exchanges are middlemen. Let's get rid of them. Who else are the middlemen? People that want to hold your keys to lend your coins out and to give you a return on interest. Those are fucking middlemen. They're security holes. Crypto was invented to get rid of them. So we'll get rid of the middlemen trying to get your keys from you to offer you interest. We get rid of the middlemen trying to get your identity from you to make you beg for your coins, which are the exchanges. The more of these things that we can get rid of, then that fulfills the ideal that cryptocurrency was invented to fulfill. This is why cryptocurrency was invented. It was invented to empower the individual. It was a cypherpunk, empower the individual, get rid of the fucking evil overlord government people out of these things. That's why it was invented. And HEX does that better than any other coin in the world currently. There is no more traded coin on on-chain exchange except Ethereum itself. And it's funny to see Ethereum trying to copy things from HEX now. People don't realize Ethereum is trying to do staking. Ethereum is trying to figure out how much you have to pay people to stake. Ethereum is trying to like get their coins to be burnt on transaction fees for EIP 1559. Ethereum is trying to make it so that you can only pay transaction fees in Ethereum. You can't pay them in something else. Well, HEX is innovating in this direction. By the way, HEX has coin burning now. HEX has staking now. Ethereum's trying to catch up to us, even though we run on Ethereum. It's very funny. So we have superior game theory that they're trying to catch up with now. In HEX, you can actually send your HEX to someone else without using Ethereum. So there's something called metatransactions. And if you go to metatransact.com/HEX, you can send HEX to other people without using Ethereum. And how it works is there's a middleman that they run, a relayer that, you know, receives extra HEX from you for the fee, and then it sells it for ETH, and then it pays the ETH, right? So in effect, somebody is still paying Ethereum to do that. It doesn't always have to be that way. Like as it stands right now, because EIP 1559 isn't rolled out yet, miners could decide to accept payments and whatever they want, right? If they want a high five, and then the miner wants to roll your transaction to a block, he can do that. He can do whatever he wants. It's up to the miner. So there's other, you know, I was in the dev chat. I won't tell the public what the HEX dev chat is, because we don't want noobs in there. But if you are a developer, direct message me on Telegram, Richard Hart, and I'll tell you where the HEX dev chat is. You know, somebody had just, so I had said, I want people to be able to send HEX without touching Ethereum. And then someone just built it, and now it works. That's awesome. And I said, I'd like people to be able to use their HEX anonymously. So, you know, let's fork this Tornado Cash thing, and, you know, you'll be able to put HEX into a pool. And if other people do it too, nobody will know who withdrew, right? So if like 100 people put HEX into a pool and then some people pull out, nobody knows who that was, right? Well, apparently someone's built that too, or, you know, is releasing it shortly. So I hear. So we've got meta transactions now where you can send HEX without using Ethereum, but really kind of Ethereum's still getting used. But to the end user, they don't care, right? They just had HEX and they were able to send it. So that's cool. Two, it looks like someone's working on the anonymity stuff with the Tornado Cash. And so now we'll have fast, price performative, featureful, anonymous. It's like, fuck, there's nothing left. Like you really run out of, like, the only thing that would be left at that point is throughput. And a lot of people are doing throughput solutions for all ERC20s that will allow you to do like any ERC20 at high speed using ZK rollups and optimistic rollups. So it's because we chose the right ecosystem with the most developers and the most aggressive roadmap and the friendliest community, as funny as that sounds, because so many people are mean to HEX. HEX didn't have to build a lot of these innovations. They were just done for us or around us because they were easy to do, right? Like the Tornado Cash already existed for Ethereum, so it would be easy to fork as it's open source to do it for HEX, right? So we chose the right ecosystem. So now people are just filling in the gaps and doing the easy things. And then at that point, you're like, well, what's left? I mean, if you've got throughput, anonymity, you don't have to touch some other token to use it. You've got price performance. You've got the world's only chart of future market supply, because, you know, we're the only chart of future, like, hey, these are the coins that can actually be sold. That's fucking amazing. Like, you know, like there's nothing, who else has any of that shit? It's just shocking to me. Like, I'm really impressed. I didn't have to make it happen. It just, I said, hey, this would be cool. And then the fucking community just made it happen. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like this, I'm on a 24-hour stream now. I had no idea this would be happening.
Do you mind making a comment about the off-ramp? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Can I get one? Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I hope I can ask you this question, Richard. If you can't answer that, it's very fine. Do you? I don't know if you're familiar with the simulation that Kyle ran that was supposed to kind of model what returns would be over like a 10-year period. I was wondering what you thought about about the potential for an initial investment that was staked over 10 years, seeing 80x returns, as he outlined in his document, that if you thought that would be feasible in the HEX ecosystem going forward.
Well, those models only predicted HEX outputs. So none of those models had anything to do with USD values.
Right. 100%.
Because, you know,
right.
Yeah. So the HEX,
I don't even want you to answer about USD at all.
Well, I mean, it's really, some things in the HEX system were nearly impossible to predict. So how many people are going to claim day one? Nobody had any idea. How long are people going to stake? Nobody has any idea, right? But some things we have a range, and that really tightens up the prediction space. So right now we know that there's like 184 billion or 164 billion. I can't remember which. Let's call it 184 billion for the big payday. And I know that number can only go up because it goes up with the virality bonus and it goes up with the critical mass bonus. So, and then I even, to make sure that happened, I took a screenshot like a month ago. And it's, if you go into t.me/hex crypto and type !BPD, you'll see a screenshot of, okay, well, here's what the BPD is now. And then if you look at it today, it's bigger. So it's like, okay, it used to be smaller, now it's bigger. Great. Wouldn't hurt to have a few more samples, but since I designed the system and did extensive modeling of it, I'm pretty sure the big payday only goes up. So now we have a number that is set. We know we have a number now that can only go up. Okay, that reduces ambiguity, right? It's set in stone basically. And so now who is going to receive that big payday? Well, it just gets split up over the other stakers. Okay. And how many coins you're staking right now? I think it's like 25 billion. I think. Let's go look, right?
For what is it? Coin staking?
Yeah. How many HEX are staked right now?
It's like 53 billion.
Okay, so let's call it 50. So just for rounding off, let's say that the big payday is 200 billion right now. It can only go up. And let's say there's 50 billion coins that are staked. If nobody else stakes, and if nobody else claims, and those two numbers stay the same for the next 175 days, then the average return is about 4x. So the stakers put in 50 billion HEX to stake, and now they're going to get 200 dumped on them. It's a 4x on average. It's very simple math, right? So like, you don't, so in this one case, which happens to be probably like the most important case, how much is the BPD going to affect your stack? The math is actually very simple. On the homepage of go.hex.win, it says big payday. There's the number. And then if you go to hex.live or hexinfo or hex-data or any of these other sites, you can see how many coins are staked. And you just realize those staked coins are going to get that big payday, period. Now, as we get closer to that day, I think big payday is going to go up because I think more people will free claim. And that'll increase the virality and critical mass bonuses. And I think more people are going to stake too. And if more people stake, then that 200B is going to get spread across more people. Now, important concept. If you stake a HEX for a year and another guy stakes a HEX for 10 years, he's going to get more of the big payday than you because he gets more shares than you because longer pays better. So a 10-year stake gets 3x the shares that a one-day stake gets. That's a big difference. So a guy that stakes just in time for big payday, which I think you'd have to stake the 18th. I think November 18th, you'd have to start your stake, I think. But check it, right? There's a calendar on go.hex.win. So if you, because when you start your stake, it doesn't really start till the next day, right? So if you start your stake on November 18th, then it's really going to have started on November 19th. But check the math, right? Like these off by one errors in software are a real nightmare. You know, you don't know which side of the fence post you're on. So if you're that guy and you stake just for that day to get the big payday, but some other guy stakes on that day and stakes for 10 years and delays his gratification, he's going to get 3 times as much of that big payday as you because he had 3 times as many shares as you. And there's also bigger pays better, but that's only worth 10%. So longer pays better is worth a 3x and bigger pays better is only worth a 1.1x.
And that's only up to 3,641 days, right? It, like after that, it's just you continue on with your share price, but that's as long as you can.
So the art, I actually misunderstood this for a while, which is just hilarious that you can design a system and then it can have traits that you don't understand because of complexity. So I thought, you know, if you stake longer than 3641 days, since that's where the bonus caps out at for longer pays better, it maxes out your 3x shares, that you'd be silly to stake longer. You'd be working for free basically. But then, you know, Kyle pointed it out. He's like, you know, if you didn't stake for longer, you'd have to get back in and the share price would be higher then. And then you'd end up with less shares. And because you have less shares, now you're making less because the shares are what dictates how much income in HEX your stake generates. The shares are the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter how much HEX you staked. It matters how many shares you got for doing that, right? So the most rare thing in HEX actually is the shares because it costs multiple HEX to get a share and the price only goes up. and the price will go up a lot. Share price will go up a lot on the big payday, or just after the big payday, because it's based on the highest ROI anyone's ever seen. And so the highest ROI anyone's going to ever seen is right after the big payday, you know, and then like the next day, the next day, and the next day. But it's a huge profit input right there. And I don't think people understand how much the share price can go up that day. It could be a lot.
We were looking at some of those charts that I don't know where Ryan got them, but Ryan Lopez showed us some charts that they got, and it was just, it starts going really exponential, and then it's just a blip in the actual share price when you scroll out to 10 years, because it just, you know, it's just a bigger exponential curve that's happening.
You can see that curve now. So if you go to the homepage of go.hex.win and you look at the day payout is how much profit in HEX the staker class made that day. And when the supply was lower, it was less. And now as the supply is increasing, they're getting a lot more every day. But the number of people that's staking isn't really going up much. Right. And so the profit inputs in HEX to the staker class is growing rapidly, but the number of new HEX being staked doesn't appear to be. And so those guys look like they're doing pretty well, the stakers. So I mean, absolutely nobody knows how many people will be staked for big payday, and absolutely nobody knows how long and how large it will be staked. And all of those are requirements to know what the actual big payday will be per person.
Right.
And then how much of that big payday goes to you. Are you a longer than average staker? Are you a shorter than average staker? Did you just stake for one day? Did everyone else just stake for one day? It's a very interesting system. But once again, it's very easy to ballpark it, because you know there's 50 billion coins staked. There's 200 billion to get handed out. Okay, that's a 4-to-1 on average. Now, the longer guys are going to eat the pie of the shorter guys. The bigger guys are going to eat slightly the pie of the smaller guys. So, when you're talking about modeling, it's like, it's the same other thing, right? Like emergency end stakes. When someone emergency end stakes, one, they pay penalties, sometimes large, sometimes 100% of their stack, right? Other times a third, other times 2%, right? Like it really depends on how long they were staked for and how long they served. If those guys hop out and they're not staking anymore, that amplifies the rewards to people that are still staked. So, you know, we know that there's a 3 so I'm giving you right now, what I'm trying to do is give you the tools to ballpark these things without having to try and like reference some model. So right now we know that if like no one else claims and if no one else stakes, that it's about a 4-to-1 on average of big payday payouts to people that are staked. So there's 50 billion there. There's going to be 200 billion shoved on top of other stakes. That's about a 4-to-1, right? It's really, I think it might be a 5-to-1 actually. Yeah, it's a 400% gain. It's a 5x on average using those numbers. Check the math. Doing math on stream isn't that easy. So that's very easy to ballpark. So if you see twice as many people stake, okay, then you're like 4-to-1 average turned into like a 2.5-to-1 average. Okay, well, it's useful to know, right? And then we know that the big payday is only one of the profit inputs. The other profit inputs are early and late end stakes and inflation. And so 3.69 inflation is very easy to calculate. Okay, so about 25% of HEX is staked. It's like 23% last I looked, but we'll round to 25. And we know that the inflation is a maximum of 3.69. So let's call it 4. Okay, so if 100% of people were staked, then they would be getting 4% on average. Longer guys would get a lot more because the shorter guys would get less. But on average, it's about 4%. But 100% of people isn't staked. Not even 1 in 4 is staked, which makes it about 4 times more powerful, which makes it about 16% interest. Ballpark. If you stake longer and you're getting 3 times the shares, it could be 30% interest, right? So, you know, understanding that there's a big payday number, you divide it by the coins that are staked, very easy ballpark math. Understanding that inflation is about 4%, and that's if 100% of people are staked, average ROI per staker. And then if there's only 25% staked, well, then that's 4 times larger. It's about 16%. So that's awesome. That's like really handy to know, right? So a lot of those models that people try to do, we already have real data. We don't have to make guesses. So like a big thing is like how many people are going to claim and how many people are going to stake. Well, we know exactly now. And most of that math is already done for you. So the best math in the world that I'm aware of is at go.hex.win or other websites that are similar that shows you your big payday payout on your stake, because it knows how big the big payday is. It knows how many shares there are, and it knows how many shares your stake has. And then it just divides your shares into the total shares, and whatever that percent is, it gives you of the big payday. And then it's very clear and very obvious that if this state doesn't change, if the big pay doesn't get bigger or smaller, and the number of people staking doesn't get bigger or smaller, this is how much you are going to get on big payday. There cannot be any better math that can be done, because it would require knowledge of the future. So the best math that can exist is already there and shows you how much you would get on big payday if nobody else staked. And, you know, since the big payday can't go down, I guess it can only go up, right? But so like any model that would be useful would be you guessing how many people are going to stake and for how long. And that's just, you're pulling numbers out of your ass because you have no idea. I have no idea. Nobody knows. And so you're taking the best number that could possibly exist, which is already there, which is your big payday number, which is in, you know, and go to hex.win or similar. And then you're just like attaching your guesses to what the future state of the system might be for BPD size and staker percentage, and then molesting the number based on that. So it's already, the math is already as good as it can get. And there's not really, I mean, you could do that on a napkin, right? Okay. You think twice as many people are going to be staked. All right. Well, then your BPD cuts in half. You think BPD is going to go up 50%. Okay. Then your BPD goes up 50%. It's really that easy. Like it's, you know, you don't need a computer model to shove those guesses in there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to see like what the share price or you know, obviously you get the people that want to know the
we have
price.
that.
And
we have the share price prediction already.
Right.
They have it on hexinfo.io.
Yeah, I think it's after the big payday is what they're looking for, is that they want to know what's it going to look like. And we won't know that right until after the big payday to see the returns on the first person that you know, exits of their I
wish I knew too. I know it's going to be a lot higher, and I know there's a minimum bound. So I know that if 100% of people staked, that it would be like 1.4x. So okay. I think that 40% more coins will be in BPD than could possibly be staked. I think you gotta check the math because like how many coins? So basically, how many coins could possibly be staked? And then how big is the BPD going to be? And then you have to distribute those BPD coins to those guys. And I think that if 100% of people staked, that you'd still end up with like a 40% payout on top of whatever they had, right? So let's do the math. Right now, I mean, with the rate at which people are claiming right now, which affects the supply, right? If more people claim, the supply gets larger, the BPD gets larger. Yeah. Because that, you know, rewards the early guys, which is what we want. We don't want people to be rewarded for keeping Hex a secret. We want people to be rewarded for spreading the good word. Yeah. So right now, I think total supply, right? I think circulating supply before big payday is set to be around 500 billion. Now, how did I arrive at that number? Ballpark. What's the supply now? About 250. How far is the launch phase? About half done. Okay. Well, half done, 250. Another half, about 500. Okay. Ballpark, right? So we got a circulating supply of about 500 billion. Now we've got a big payday of about 170 billion. What is it? I want to know whether it's 184 or 164. You guys know?
184. Yeah, it's 184. Okay. Yeah. I can make sure.
So let's call it 184. Yeah. So let's call it 184. So we've got about 500 in circulating supply. And then we've got credited to the staker class about 184B, which leaves, I don't know, what percent is 184 of 500? And that's like your minimum bound of an average, right? Yeah. And that's at 100% stake.
40%.
Yeah. So that's how I arrived at that number. So it's, you know, it's like, yeah, if every single coin that could exist was also staked, then on average, you've got 184B to pile on top of those 500B guys. Now, a lot of people misunderstand. They think that the total supply is going to go up a lot on big payday. It's probably not. I think a lot of people are staked for 10 years already. Yeah. And I think, the average stake is 4.2 years now. Mm-hmm. So unless that behavior changes, you're not going to see that 180B for a while, you know? And so if, people fear this big dump on big payday, and you're like, I don't know, man. Like, it really depends on how people stake closer to the day, doesn't it? Yeah. What if people start staking longer to get more of the big payday? You could have 10-year average stake. You could have 5-year average stake. You know, nobody knows. So I wouldn't be comfortable trying to guess whether there was a pump or dump or sideways or anything on big payday until the day was closer and you could see how people were staking. Yep. Because that's the number that matters. Those are the guys that are going to get all the big payday, are the guys, you know, that are the stakers. So I think this has been a really productive question, because it gives you the tools to make these simple estimates. Okay, how big's big payday? How many people are staking? Okay, there's your average ROI. What's the supply going to look like at the end of the year? About 500B, because we're halfway through and it's about 250. Okay, easy, ballpark, simple to remember, right? And then I think being able to do these things kind of, so the only thing that's left that you might want to model for is like, what will the share price be? Because I don't have any way to ballpark that.
That one's pretty rough.
Because you've got the ballpark stuff will set the ROI, and then it's a question of who ends their stake with that ROI to set that new share price. That's a little bit harder, right?
Right. Yeah. Because you don't know. Well, I mean, you're going to get day one guys out, but you don't. It will depend on how. I guess they'll have the same share price since they were day one, and if they get out on the big payday, so they're automatically going to get that.
Yeah, I think the day one guys will always be able to set the share price because they'll always have the highest ROI.
Right.
And until you run out of day one guys, right? And then it'll be day two guys that have the option to set the highest share price. So does that answer your question? Good texture.
Yes, sir. I mean, that was adequate enough. I guess I was looking for more if you thought the ADX that was in Kyle's document was reflective of something that we could see in reality.
Oh, you mean ADX and ROI in HEX?
Over 10 years.
He knows more about it than I do. So, because he spent more time modeling it than I did. So my model,
he said that.
Yeah, and he's right. So my model that I did assumed that every staker had the same length stake. His model was more advanced and used independent agents that had varying length stakes themselves. And you can download, he published the code that he used to do it, C# code in the dev chat. You could find it. From my perspective, it's like, it's really going to matter what percentage of people stake and how long. Because if few people stake and they don't stake that long, and then you stake and you stake long, you're going to get absolutely like gigantic returns, right? So that model's as useful as your guess as to how many people are gonna stake, you know? Yeah. And once again, another thing, like the USD price multiplies, so the USD gain multiplies times your gain in HEX. And that's just damn beautiful. So right now people have gotten up to 116x just in USD price. And then while they were sitting there holding, they might have got another 20% just for holding. And then, that's like 150x. And then, or 130 or 140x. That's fucking awesome, right? Yeah. And this is only 6 months in. So if you look at the charts, and you know, somebody posted a chart, somebody was talking on Twitter today about altcoin pumps, and the altcoin pumps are in percentages that are insane. So if you liked the 10,000x in 2.5 years that Ethereum did, there's coins that went a lot higher, a lot quicker. And for the most part, they died and went to shit, but it still happened, right? So like there's a lot of coins that have done retarded ROI. I think like Verge, Nano, Z Classic, you know, just mostly shit coins, but did returns that were absolutely unbelievable. I think also XRP beat the shit out of Ethereum's 10,000x in 2.5 years. So when I'm quoting like numbers to show the possibilities of what's possible in crypto, I could actually make these numbers a lot larger by quoting other projects, right, because their ROI was even crazier. And HEX is a better product than those products. So we're in the lottery to have that same type of insanity, where you're like, this can't possibly be happening. There's no way this could be, you know? That's a possibility.
Do you think that you may have undercut HEX with the 10,000x possibility?
Possible.
And do you think, have you looked at HEX compared to the early Bitcoin chart? And do you
looks the same.
Do you think that it's tracking from a fractal perspective?
I mean, I don't know about drawing fractals back that far. I think it's more coincidence than it is like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, whatever the fuck the HEX chart is doing, I love it. Like,
damn straight. That's what I'm saying. Fucking looks good.
Yeah.
Hexo, check the private chat. And
here's another thing. People don't realize how easy it is for the HEX price to go up. So there's 10 million in liquidity. That means there's 5 million Ethereum on the bid side at today's USD price, which means if someone bought 5 million HEX, 5 million of HEX in a single order, and we've seen similar before. I mean, that guy that doubled the price a way back from here, which, by the way, after he doubled it, it never went back. Never went back. That guy that doubled the price in a single candle, he's still massively up. I think he's still like up 1.5x or 2.5x. So someone could put in $5 million, and then that would quadruple the HEX price in a single order. Now, other people could come in after him and start selling it down and such, or they could just keep piling on and FOMO up, which we have seen in the past. So it's really neat when you're operating in this automated market maker that you can make these predictions, because, you know, there's no iceberg orders with hidden liquidity that will affect what actually happens. It's all there and clear and open. So I can tell you that if you put about $5 million of Ethereum in, you're going to 4x the HEX price in that single order. Now, what else do you know that can 4x on $5 million input? You think you can 4x Bitcoin on $5 million input? You put 5 million in, no one would even notice it happened. You want to put 5 million into Ethereum, no one will ever notice it happened. But in HEX, you put 5 million in, you're going to 4x the price. And I don't think 5 million is hard to come by. And this is the same shit I told everyone before the price went up 2x, 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 right? Like way back when I told everybody this. And then it happened. I was like, oh, check that out. Like, good times. It's very easy to move the HEX price up. Very, very easy.
Yeah.
Do you think that the absence of exchanges is giving us a huge benefit?
I hate exchanges. I really do. I think they're the opposite of what crypto is invented for. Unfortunately, some people gatekeep you until you're on certain exchanges, which is disgusting to me. So the idea of crypto is to get rid of middlemen. And then we have middlemen in crypto that will only pay attention to you if you fellated other middlemen to get on their exchange. And so now, like, here you got to harm the customers to introduce a centralized party that leeches profit off of them and reduces their security and reduces their privacy. And you've got to have multiple of those to fuck over enough people to stop getting gatekept by this centralized entity. Yep. That's disgusting to me. I really, really hate it. I really hate it. But What are you going to do? Change the system?
Yeah.
How? It's hard because
What
they don't. Huh?
What do you think about when it comes to exchanges? I mean, I'm still using exchange to off ramp into cash or to on ramp cash into Hex.
Yep.
And so when you see something like I commented before you came on the stream about like the people that in 17 were supposedly coming from financial systems into crypto, and now you see people going to work on Fed coin or whatever work for Mnuchin. What do you think about like the other gate that's kept as far as banks? Because I still have to exit to pay my taxes. I have to exit to pay my house or car. And what do you see the 5-year game when it comes to Hex?
I once again am disgusted by the state of that system. If you want to sell the shirt off your back, you can do so. If you want to sell your car, you can do so. If you want to sell your house, you can do so. You do not need to use a goddamn fucking middleman bank. You do not need to use a bank. If you want to walk outside and sell someone a back massage for $5, you might be in violation of some local ordinance, but you don't need to use a bank. But for some reason, people have parted with their rights, and they have to go through these goddamn middlemen that add friction and destroy privacy and add risk and make you beg for your money back. The concept that you can't sell cryptocurrency out of your front yard is why we have all this shit that we have. If you could sell cryptocurrency out of your front yard, then you wouldn't need to fucking off-ramp in some weird goddamn centralized horror fest. You just off-ramp to your neighbor. You could off-ramp in the yellow pages or your local classifieds, just like when you want to get rid of your couch. You want to get rid of your couch, you put out an ad. You want to get rid of your crypto, you put out an ad. That's how it should be. And that's how I hope the world becomes. But as it stands right now, we have to supplicate to these fucking middlemen to let people turn their fiat into crypto. It's just goddamn regrettable. Now, some things have improved. So I know that there's a place where you can off-ramp your crypto, without any sign up. You just give them your bank account. It still requires a bank account, but at least there's not all this extra bullshit, right? I think they have a cap of like $3,500 a day or something. People need to fight for their rights. Stop with the security theater bullshit. We need to get the fucking government out of a lot of these peer-to-peer transactions because they're not making the world a better place. They're making the world a worse place. The vast majority of people are honest and doing honest things, fucking over the vast majority of people in order to pretend to catch a couple guys. It's bullshit. It does not make the world better. It makes it worse. So save the money on the fake security theater and law enforcement theater, and then get real investigators that go do real groundwork and real legwork and get real subpoenas, and then everything will work better. The people that are doing, honest stuff will have a better time doing it, and the people fighting the bad guys will have more resources to do it. It's just like the difference between Israeli airport security and American airport security. More people want to blow up Israeli planes, period. But their planes don't get blown up. Why? Because they don't care about what you're bringing on the plane. They care about who you are. They care about your identity. They care about you. In America, they don't give a fuck who you are. They care about your stuff. And so there's this paradigm shift between caring about the human or the stuff. And in America, they care about the stuff. And in Israel, they care about the human. And the human is a more effective way to do it. Much more effective way to do it. So airport security in Israel works wonderfully. Airport security in America never catches a goddamn thing. Everything they try and sneak on gets right fucking through. So the only reason planes aren't falling out of the air in the United States is because no one's trying. So,
I think
there's real security in their security theater.
5% of the stuff that actually gets caught in the the TSA, only 5%. Yes. And it's like whatever.
And they're feeling up your kids and seizing your water bottles.
Staring at
you. They forgot. They don't even remember why water bottles were stopped. Now they just think the bottle's the problem. Yeah. They forgot it was from two-part liquid explosives. But they're just so dumb. And how couldn't they be? I mean, these are guys that make $14 an hour. Just got a fucking, community college, and they're like they're not trained to be goddamn security experts.
Yeah.
And there's nothing for them to catch anyway. like,
right.
like, I got some toenail clippers, man. Woo. Yeah. So in summary, like HEX will benefit from reduced friction in on-ramps. So the fact that you can turn your credit card into Ethereum by MoonPay or Wire, WYRE, to get it into ETH and then turn that ETH into HEX very easily, that's good reduced friction. If you want to, there's some other on-ramp. Yeah, USDC. So if you want to go to Coinbase, get USDC with no fees using dollars, and then turn that USDC into HEX and Uniswap, like hextex.win, then that's reduced friction. I mean, think about it. How much extra friction does it take to get their USDC with no fee and then turn it into HEX on hextex.win? How much more friction is that transaction versus, hey, Coinbase, please list HEX. Please tell people when you're going to list it accurately. Please have uptime and don't go down all the time. Please not inspect people's transactions after they've sent their coins elsewhere. Please, that's a lot of fucking begging, right? Yeah. They've already got Ethereum. Cool. Buy the Ethereum. If you like HEX, turn it into HEX. We don't need to beg anybody. We don't need to beg anybody. So everybody in the world, people in chat are always like, get listed on Binance. You do it. You do it. You want on Binance? You do it. Right now, Binance has Ethereum. And if you get Ethereum on Binance, you could have HEX like that. So, and by the way, it's more liquid. So even if HEX is listed on Coinbase and listed on Binance, I am willing to bet that the Uniswap market for HEX is more liquid than the market on Coinbase. So it's like, even if Coinbase and Binance list HEX, probably you still want to get ETH and just swap it to HEX on Uniswap for the decreased slippage and better liquidity. Like, yeah. So everyone should be focused on onboarding new users and not supplicating and begging the exchanges. Yeah. Because just because you got listed on exchange doesn't mean shit. Things get delisted too. Well, if being listed was so amazing, how could you get delisted? Should be amazing, shouldn't it? No. Like, it's just another place. Like, people have to want to trade it. People have to want to buy it or sell it. Just because it's listed there doesn't mean dick. So if you want HEX to do well, you should be focused on onboarding new users. They can get Ethereum from any exchange in the world already. So they don't need to have HEX as the primary pair there. But you know what? If you want that shit, HEX is already on like 26 exchanges already. So, but you don't see them on the homepage. Why? Because crypto is designed to get rid of middlemen. So
yeah, I think it's hilarious when people say you can't even buy or you can't even sell your HEX. That's the worst one too. You can't even sell it, guys. You can't even sell your HEX. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's funny because
it's a wash trading. It's just like, okay, yeah.
I like when people make two statements at once that contradict themselves. They're like, so they're like, Richard, you're pumping the price. And you're making other people FOMO. You're like, well, hold on a second. If other people are FOMOing, aren't they pumping the price? Don't those combat? Like, aren't those conflicting? Oh, yeah. And then people will say shit like, the volume's all wash traded and you can't sell it.
Yeah.
Wash traded. Well, that wash traded all the time. Wash traded.
Yeah. It's the most honest and transparent volume in the entire world. You can see every single person that bought, every single person that sold, whether they have stakes open, whether they made money, what other coins they have. It's the most open and transparent trading in the entire history of cryptocurrency's existence, period. Period. Yeah. But they say the opposite because they're fucking retarded. And I even made a video to show them how to do this analysis. Here's a website you go to see each trade. Here's how you see what coins they're selling. Here's how you see what, like, I fucking literally shove this information down their throat and they're just still oblivious. Like, they can't get it. It blows my mind, dude.
I think it comes down to just people not liking you, Richard. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I got today from the stream.
They just don't like you. They're like, well, he's, they just don't like how you come across to other people. And so they like attribute, they think that you're talking to them or something. They're just like, oh, I'm offended for this other person that he called retarded. So I'm going to, screw Richard Hart. Like, they've never even talked to you. It's hilarious.
It's a good theory, but Vitalik and I don't act the same and they hate the fuck out of him. That's right. True.
Yeah.
So
for different reasons, though.
I'm not sure, man.
Bitcoin guys hate Vitalik just because he's Vitalik. Yeah,
they hate him because he made a new coin.
Yeah, yeah,
and it works, and it does what it said it would, kind of, right? Like DAOs didn't work out, and World Computer didn't work out, but you know, doing more powerful blockchain shit worked out. So I'm just saying, man, everybody hates Elon Musk in crypto. Everybody hates Bill Gates in crypto. I don't think people like Steve Jobs in crypto. I didn't. Now, who are the people who actually change the fucking world? Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. The people hate Vitalik. What's Vitalik do? Writes open source software, funds development, funds the community, donated to the Sens Foundation several $1 million trying to save people's lives. I mean, his blog posts are so fucking smart. I don't understand half the shit he's saying.
You got called paranoid today because of Sci-Vive and the fact that you want to do life expectancy elongation.
They said what did they say? They said that what if Richard Hart has a panic attack and sells all the liquidity
because your mental state was too sketchy. That's what they said.
That's what they're coming. There's the fun right now, man.
Dude,
heated.
If I held my Bitcoin bags for a long time, and you know, I know how to hold. And then if you're curious about how the participants in HEX act, we'll go look and see who's selling. Anytime you're curious who's selling, you go look it up, and you see if the whales are the ones selling, or if it's these fucking new plebs that just got in. You know, so it's like it's a very open system. You can see what everyone's doing. I think that if you make a difference in this world, you are going to be hated. And if you're going to be hated anyway, you might as well have fun with it. Fuck it. Right?
You do have fun.
So this dude, right, this guy, he thought he was going to come make HEX look bad. Set up a hit piece, set up a trap, right? Didn't tell me what was going on. I was told it was going to be a friendly fireside chat. Friendly. Tried to stare my screen. You know, I talked to 7 lawyers. You're like, well, I talked to a couple lawyers that wrote an opinion letter, said everything's fine. So fuck yourself. Your lawyers suck. I don't know what to tell you, mate. Like, he's like, does the SEC know about this? Like, yeah, front page of our cryptocurrency report HEX to the SEC. You know, hundreds of people filed reports. Yeah, they know what's going on. Sure.
Yeah.
So, and they regulate securities. HEX isn't a security. It's that simple. It's really that simple. I like what they do. I love that they shut scams down. I love that they try and protect people's fucking money. The SEC has a very, very, very good intention and sometimes does really good shit. So I support the SEC in much of what they do. It's just they don't regulate what HEX is, right? They're not a software regulator. They're not an internet regulator. They're not a human speech regulator. They regulate securities, and that involves a very specific set of shit, which HEX doesn't have. So I think that if you want to make a difference in this world, so back to that guy, you know, he's like, oh, I'm going to publish this and make you look like shit. And you're like, no, actually, I'm going to publish it. And really, Hexo is the one that
he pulled it down.
No, somebody else did it, but I reposted.
He doxed himself and then he pulled it down. Yeah.
Well, I saw Hexo's tweet of it. And I'm like, all right. So usually I just don't give the scammers any power, right? So if you're a troll or a scammer, I just let you drown in obsolescence. Like nobody knows you even exist.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to waste my audience's attention on shit that sucks. So if someone's trolling and just wasting everybody's time, I don't want to waste my audience's attention on that shit. So I wasn't going to tweet it out, right? Their audience that they had already saw it, was impressed, and so that's enough. But then Hexo tweeted it, and it got like a shitload of tweets and retweets. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I guess since he did it now, I'll come out and do it too. And I told the story people didn't know about him trying to share my screen and him being a goddamn scammer selling, if you have an ICO, give me $200. I'll put it on my site. Yeah. So you sell ICO listings is what you sell for a living. You've reviewed 400 coins. There aren't 400 coins of value in this fucking ecosystem, man.
No.
So you review a lot of goddamn scams is what you do. So a fucking scammer interviewed me, tried to make me look bad, and was bragging about how he's going to promote video. Hexo starts tweeting the video. I start tweeting the video. He pulls the video down.
And then did you see his Twitter when he was tweeting?
Technical error.
Yeah, he had a technical error.
Technical error.
How did you have a technical error? Crypto Coffee is like, what'd you do? Accidentally slip and press the go on private button on YouTube?
Right.
That's about all you
Hey, but
do.
then it was back up 5 minutes later. Somebody pulled it back up.
Because we put it up. We reposted it because he took it down and then we reposted it. And it was like, no, you're not getting away with this, my friend. No. We're taking you down. We're not going to let you just get away with it.
What that guy did was so disgusting and wrong that even people that hate me hate that guy more. like, people that don't like Hex are like, man, you're fucking horrible.
Nope.
You know, because what that guy did was so shitty, so terribly shitty. And he'll saying things like, you're an MLM. No, there's one level and it ends in 6 months. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yep.
Or, you know, you're a Ponzi. Well, where's the promises, man? Where's your promised return? Where's the fake work? No, there aren't any. There's none of that shit. It's the most honest disclosures in the world. Oh, well, what's this origin address nobody knows about? I don't know. It's a disclaimer at the bottom of every page and the white paper So if you click technical details and click the layman's guide, it's all there. It's clear as fuck, more clear than anything else. If you participate in Bitcoin, is there a fucking guide on the Bitcoin website that walks you through the code and says this part of the code does this and this part of the code does this? No, there's fucking not. And there's not for any other cryptocurrency that I know of, but Hex has that shit. Yeah. Hex shows you this code does this, this code does this, this code does this, as clear as possibly could fucking be. So it has better disclosures, more honest, no completely finished project. What the fuck more could you possibly want? But I'm glad. Yeah. I'm really glad that I had that talk with that guy because it inspired me to improve the homepage. So we would always have this argument about design to 10,000x because I'm not allowed to talk about design intentions. We have to pretend that price isn't something that can be designed. We have to pretend that scarcity isn't something that can be designed, even though everyone makes a halvening video. So Satoshi's allowed to make a pump-a-mental with a halvening, but I'm not allowed to design any fucking pump-a-mentals or I'm Satan himself. Interesting. And Ethereum's doing the same shit. Ethereum's doing coin burning with the IP 1559 and doing staking with if you get in earlier, you get more shares kind of shit. So they're copying me. I'm building on what Satoshi did, but the world wants to pretend that this isn't allowed. And it's just a copy of what works in the real world. The CD of getting paid more for longer. We just copied what they do in the real world. They pay you 20% more interest if you lock a year longer. We copied that shit and put it in Hex. But everyone wants to yell and scream about being a demon and shit. Okay. So even though Ethereum did 10,000x in 2.5 years, and I think Hex is designed better than Ethereum, and therefore by syllogistic inference, I think Hex can outperform Ethereum, which means it was designed to do better than a 10,000x in 2.5 years, which Bitcoin was also designed to do. It's over 2 millionx in 2017. It's over 900,000x now. Well, maybe 880,000x last I looked. So these are reasonable numbers that I'm speaking about honestly and truthfully and describing the design intention and still telling you, yes, crypto can go to zero. Yes, all this shit drops 85, 95% every once in a while, no matter what anyway. I'm the guy spreading that word. But since they don't listen and they all got hung up on the 10,000x, I finally supplicated and I finally said, fuck it, I'm getting rid of it. And we just got rid of it. That pisses me off, okay? Because I did design it to beat Ethereum. And Ethereum did do a 10,000x in 2.5 years. So it pisses me off that I can't speak honestly about the design intention of the system. And another thing, business design itself is entirely focused on value creation and creating a system which becomes more valuable over time. That is what business design is, period. So every business is designed to accrue value and become more valuable.
And it should be disclosed.
Isn't that similar to designing an economic system? Exactly. Isn't that similar to designing a cryptocurrency? Is a design intention of accruing value that something could become more valuable over time? The fact that I'm demonized for doing that is just fucking enraging to me. It just makes me so angry.
Yeah, I said crazy that Americans and people in general, they don't want you to talk about how you're earning or talk about how much you can get. Like
the difference between can and will.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it can do 10,000x, but who the fuck knows? Like, I don't know what it'll do, and neither do you. Nobody knows. But I know this is the highest appreciating asset class in the history of man. And so if you're playing in the space, you really have a good chance of being the highest appreciating thing that's ever existed in the history of man. These aren't extreme statements. They're obvious statements. But since so many people misunderstood them, misconstrued them, and forced them to sound extreme because of their bias, I just removed the language. And so now it doesn't say design to 10,000x anymore on the website. Now it says HEX did 115. It went up 115x in 129 days.
I like the portion that you did, because it does actually, you know, it does outline why we, you know, why we came into it, you know, like why you made it, why we should have HEX on the, you know, instead of, I mean, I think that it outlines exactly what HEX is here for, you know, to get rid of all these scams, to promote a good, honest product instead of, you know, it combats the scams like you put on the outline.
They smirked at me today when we talked about that, you know, because we came in with the same arguments. Well, they were trying to be objective at first. It's like, oh, we're going to be real objective and ask you guys questions, and let's talk about HEX. Let's get people to understand it. And the first thing they did was they pulled up a list of what is a scam. And let's go line item by line item of why HEX is a scam. And that's how they started the whole thing, you know. So we had to go over each one. And of course, they called it a Ponzi. They called it an MLM. They called it all of these things, you know. And as we tried to explain all that to them, you know, there were snickers and smirks, you know. Oh, yeah.
They don't get it through their head. They don't get it through their heads. It's just like, guys, come on. You have to actually.
Here's my favorite part. How is a bunch of bitches holding ETH, which went down 95% and is currently down 85%, going to gatekeep or talk shit to HEX, which is doing new all-time highs?
Yeah.
Bag holders, I hate to break it to you, but you actually bought something that price performatively behaved just like a Ponzi. Bitcoin, price performance-wise, behaves like a Ponzi. Ethereum, price performance-wise, behaves like a Ponzi. Period. And that, and so the fact that these things can get up, by the way, Ethereum never made a new all-time high yet. Bitcoin never made a new all-time high yet. And it's not written in stone that they fucking will. So, you know, to have people that are holding bags that are down 85 and 95% point and laugh at HEX, which is not down from its all-time high like theirs. It's just very funny to me, because those motherfuckers need to grow some humility. They need to grow some humility, because they were all shelling when fucking ETH was 1,500 and Bitcoin was 20K. And I called the top at 19,600 and said it was overbought. It was time to do a dip. I'm the guy that did that. I called the 20K Christmas from 4K months earlier, and I called the top at 19,600. And I called the multi-year bear market at 8,500.
Broke all of our hearts.
Fucking are, and all my predictions came true. Yeah. And my predictions came true, and I had a lot of shit for it, because only bearish posts are rewarded, and only bullish posts are rewarded. If you say anything that's bearish, you're fucking annihilated online. Yeah. You will receive no likes. You'll receive no retweets. No one will be nice to you, because everyone wants to manipulate and lie to the public to try and pump their fucking bags.
Yeah.
So if your coin went down 95%, you don't ever get to gatekeep or shit talk another coin's price performance, because it's just, what is there? What's like?
But not only did you call the top, Richard, afterwards, you know, you said, you got on that stream and you said, it's over, guys. It's over. We are in a bear market for the next 2 to 3 years, more than likely. And it freaking happened. You know, I mean, that's what you said. It wasn't that you called the top, but you called the bear market too, and the length of it. So, I mean, hats off, bud.
I get some shit right. I get some shit right. A lot of it.
Richard, what do you think is like the biggest setback right now? Like, for me, it's like anybody that
coin market cap, dude. Coin motherfucking market cap lying about our goddamn position. It's just goddamn disgusting to me. Listen, you guys have a fucking rank. Your rank says you're sorting by market cap, but then you have this outside fucking left field rule, which is that there's this page 3 where there's actually coins that have higher market caps that are just deprived of the front page status because of some random shit. And then you hide what that random shit is. HEX is 1% of all Ethereum transactions. And it's been more over the last 6 months. HEX is the top financial app on Ethereum. HEX is the #1 liquidity and volume in Uniswap. 40% of Uniswap trades are HEX. HEX has the most open and transparent volume in trades in all of cryptocurrency, and it's on 24 or 26 goddamn exchanges. Stop fucking us over. We have opinion letters that say that we're not a security from 2 different countries, from 2 different lawyers. Please stop fucking us over and lying about our goddamn position in the world. Because when noobs go to CoinMarketCap and type in HEX, that shit is like rank 203 when it should really be like rank 25 or 30. And that fucking sucks that you're lying about Hex's position in the world using some made up bullshit, because Hex is better than the other fucking coins that you have there on the front page. Those other coins are fucking garbage. ADA doesn't even exist. It doesn't even fucking exist. Why the fuck are we ranked lower than some shit that doesn't fucking exist? Why? These goddamn middlemen fucking bullshit.
Blows my mind.
Do you think market cap should include staked coins or not?
Well, currently it doesn't, and in Hex it doesn't. And you know, it look, everybody is full of shit in crypto except Hex. Satoshi's fucking coins never fucking circulated. He fucking mined them and he sat on them. They never circulated. They're never offered to the goddamn market, but they're counted in his circulating supply, inflating his market cap
for 10 years.
Then for 10 fucking years. And then copycats came along and gave his fucking non-circulating coins new bullshit non-circulating coins. And those fucking coins are counted for circulating market cap and the other fucking forks as well. So BCH market cap's inflated, BSV's market cap inflated, Bitcoin market cap inflated. They're counting fucking coins that were never ever offered to the public ever. So that's the status quo. The status quo is whatever the fuck we want to call circulating is whatever it is, and then we're going to use that to calculate the market cap, right? So the concept that in Hex, when people stake their coins, they're burnt, and that reduces the circulating supply, and then that reduces the market cap, it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird because now we've got people doing the best thing they can possibly do, which would cause price to appreciate, you know, assuming static or increasing demand. But Hex is penalized for when people do the right thing by a reduced market cap. And it's being put up against things that have the fakest fucking market caps you could dream. The fakest fucking market caps. So you think that BSV's circulating supply and market cap should be higher because they gave some coins to somebody who's never used his Bitcoin and will surely never use his fucking other fork coins. So that shit's fake and lame and sucks. But here we are being gate capped. It's like fucking we do everything better. Kind of like we're traded like Richard? We do the opposite.
Did you expect that we'd be gate kept to the point like how we are? No,
I did not. Because look, everything else that's dog shit does just fine. Fake and gay and horrible, terrible, disgusting garbage is all over the top 100, all over it. Right.
Yeah.
So
what is what like?
I really don't understand that. Honestly, it's like you go. We were naming off coins earlier that we got into, you know, that we rode down.
They were shit.
Yeah, and they're, you know, still some of them that we're naming off are still in the top 100 on coin market cap, and it's like, what are they? You know, they're down 99.8%, and it's like, how are they still on these coin market cap and such?
Here's my question, Richard. So if these guys aren't stupid, I mean, these people can understand what if I can understand Hex. Now wait a second.
Which guys are we talking about?
but these people understand cryptocurrencies. They've got to. I mean, if a guy like me can figure out Hex and go,
you mean the gatekeepers?
The gatekeepers. And so, what do you think it is? Okay. I mean, is it's obvious? I'm sure they can really give a shit about your personality. Is it that they've seen something that's going to kick everything's ass, and they're like, "Oh shit, we better slow this son of a bitch down, or it's gonna wreck all."
I think it's jealousy and hatred. Yeah. I think it's jealousy and hatred. I'll give you this is just a theory I'm pulling them out of ass, but it's a cool narrative, so let's explore it. Because I shared so much time with the public, because I spoke so clearly and openly about my thoughts and ideas, people thought they were on the same level with me. They thought, here's Richard, you know, YouTuber. Okay, so what's a YouTuber? Broke guy. They stay broke. Okay. But they don't realize I'm not a YouTuber, right? I don't make thumbnails. I barely ever release videos. I'm an ass-kicking machine. I'm a business guy. That's what I do. That's why I retired when I was 25. That's why I traveled the world. Back in 2003, I was retired. I only had to do business for a couple of years until I made enough money to fucking quit. So that's what I really am, is an ass-kicking machine. But then people, they grew camaraderie, right? So in the armed services, the enlisted men are isolated socially from the officers because familiarity breeds contempt. Mm-hmm. And if the officers and the enlisted men hang out too much, the fucking enlisted men won't do what they're told anymore because they're too familiar with the officers. So they literally socially force isolate them to maintain a structure of order and control. Yep. And I think that by me being as public and open and with the public, that they didn't see me as alien enough to have earned the right to build some billion-dollar thing. And so for them, it's like, this isn't fair. I mean, it's just Richard. And, you know, he just built a $1 billion thing. He said he was going to build some amazing thing, and then he built it, and now it's here. It's just not fair. And so every YouTuber is angry that they didn't take my advice and launch a coin. And every founder is angry that my coin's kicking the shit out of their coin. And, you know, there's just a lot of jealousy and a lot of hatred because I built something that's goddamn amazing. And now it's amazing without me. This show that I'm watching with you guys was fantastic before I got here, and it'll be fantastic after I leave. You know, I am no longer important to the ecosystem because the design was so good that everyone else now has already locked in and is creating more value than I'm creating. You know, you guys do more streams and produce more content than I do. You got like everybody's doing more for HEX than I do. I just sit around basically. So that pisses off a lot of people. And I'll tell you what, like,
we're bots.
I'm not humble about it. You know, I'm fat and old, but I'm also funny and rich, and I got a big dick. So, you know, it's like, I know what I am. This is not a mystery to me. And that pisses some people off, you know?
Yeah. And it's growing exponentially right now. I mean, the YouTube community for HEX is just, it's starting to explode. There's so much content out there now.
I think we need to transcend the crypto market. The beautiful thing about transcending the crypto market is, one, there's a lot more money outside of crypto than in it. Two, a lot of people haven't been fucking ruined and lost all their money. So a lot of guys holding bags from 2017, you know, you bought Bitcoin at 20K, now it's 8K. You're missing a lot of your stack. You bought Ethereum at 1500. Shit was 80 2 months ago. That's a lot of your stack missing, man. Yeah. So there's a whole world of people that have never experienced how cool crypto is and can be. And I would love to see HEX transcend all of the gatekeeping assholery in crypto and route around it. So you know what? It ain't hard to make a CoinMarketCap site. There's some private label versions of them from sale. You want to keep gatekeeping us? That's fine. We can go compete against you on SEO. And then you know, we'll see if we can get your rank to drop. So I used to do SEO for a living, and I haven't put any fucking time into it in a long time, but I know how the game is played. So if you want to keep gatekeeping HEX, watch the HEX community route around you, and then there'll be a new popular website. Like for instance, right now, anybody that's a fan of HEX, they don't go to CoinMarketCap, they go to CoinPaprika. You do a search for CoinPaprika, HEX is going to come up as one of the first things that comes up under it, because that's probably why most people even go to that site. So people that choose to step against HEX are going to get fucking routed around, you know, like exchanges want to fuck around. No problem, man. We replace you. You know, it's like you can either get on this train and enjoy the ride, or you can get run the fuck over. It's really that easy, because ain't nothing none of these people are doing is that hard. No. And that includes starting exchange. Starting exchange is not fucking hard. On Yavin's site, we were taking a deep dive on it on my channel yesterday, and he shows IEOs, you know, initial exchange offerings, and he also is sponsored by the Electronium and two other
one of the
Saga and some other
Rocket. Yeah, Rocket, which you know, gives you 500x leverage that you can do, and it's like, yeah, you're calling us a scam, man. 500x leverage, huh?
But it's like this easy. Anybody that tries to like gatekeep as a YouTuber, you're like, okay, so do you think most people make money trading? No. Do you have links to people to go trade? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's over then, right? It's like, okay. So you basically got links that will harm most people to click them. Yeah. Okay. Well, this conversation's over then, eh?
Yeah. They don't see it as like, you know, that 99% of, and in the long run, 100% of the people lose their money. They don't see it like that. They think that they're helping somebody out getting, you know,
I don't think
they promote it.
I think they know.
Yeah. They probably know what's going on, but you know, they
like
make their little.
What about guys like Tone? I mean, the guy knows that he's making himself look like an ass here. I mean, it's going to blow up in his face.
He's been wrong for so long. He's used to it. He would feel weird if he was right. He might not know how to handle it. I mean, if you want to see me destroy Tone Vase in person, I did this in Singapore. I fucking annihilated him. Go on Cointelegraph's YouTube channel. Cointelegraph has a YouTube channel, and watch the Tone Vase versus Richard Hart, Bitcoin Realist versus Bitcoin Maximalist video. Holy shit. Read the comments in the video, dude. That's why he blocked me. Like, because I don't even post this fucking
he's butthurt is what it is. And that's
dude. Yeah, because he harms people for a living. Yeah. He convinces people they're going to make money. They lose money, and then he profits off them losing money.
And then he runs around hiding behind his everything else is a scam thing.
Right, exactly. He's like, you know, yeah, but this thing sucks. You're like, okay. But you're still robbing people, like,
yes, it's great.
So yeah, it sucks, and you suck. You guys both suck. You know, it's funny to me that if you watch the Bitcoin halvening shows, it was the most gross looking, terrible public face that you could show for a project.
Yeah, like
the Tone Vase one that had the Winklevoss twins on it had a guy in a goat costume singing a song about we like trustless something or another and like with fake trade set up, like in his room he has just random monitor like up in the corner of the room, and you could never ever possibly see what was on that monitor. like if you were sitting here, having a monitor up in the corner of the room is entirely fucking useless. And then he has like a staff, the fucking like Bitcoin logo on it or some shit. Anybody in the world that was thinking of investing that saw that would be like, yeah, I'm selling. I'm out. whatever that was, I don't want that shit anywhere near my investment. and then there's just more of that, right? It's like 30% of the people on the show have face masks because they don't want to show their identities. Yeah. So you look like basically vigilantes or terrorists or fucking, I mean, I guess now because of the pandemic, you look slightly less retarded, but the goat's head isn't exactly a fucking, you know, breathing mask.
And then Chico lost it on that other group that they were doing.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. So people with no emotional intelligence at all are out there Aspergering on each other for the public's fucking
Aspergering on each other.
Holy
wild.
Well, I guess we have to restart this, not restart the stream, but every 12 hours, if we want to keep it archivable, we have to restart it because it only goes 12 hours. So can I send you guys a link and then you guys can get back in?
Send it.
I want to ask a good texture question. Tell me about the guns behind you, man. What do you got there?
So the top one up here, and sorry if I got echo or my audio is bad, but the top one here, that's a Colt M4. It's a 5.56 by 45 caliber NATO. And the second one there, that is a 12 gauge shotgun. It'll accept a 3-inch Magnum. It's a break barrel it's a double barrel.
Side by side.
Yeah, side by side. And then the bottom one, that's the oldest. That's my very first gun that I ever got. That is a 22 long range. I think it was made back in the 1950s. It was purchased at Sears, I think, by my potentially great grandfather.
I remember Sears.
I think it's funny that, like, so of the people on the stream, we have one precious metals bug, 2 Marines, and 1 otherwise gun enthusiast.
Yeah. And FundingGym was in the Navy, so he was a corpsman.
He was a corpsman.
He's one of us. Yeah, he was attached to the Marines, so we're pretty much all Marines up at the top.
They do what we do.
And I worked for the DOD at one time.
No shit. I used to do scenario shooting, so I've done my fair share of firearms play. Yeah, back when I lived in the States, I had a good arsenal: 37mm grenade launcher, AK-47 with TAC-2 bounce trigger, 100-round drum, Chinese, easier to load. Fucking love my Remington Wingmaster 870s. It's my favorite shotgun. Seems like when you put a lot of rounds through the Mossberg 500s, they get hot and just don't cycle anymore. Glocks, Bursas, fucking Berettas, you name it, man.
Just you ain't had fun until you melted a 60 barrel.
Yeah, 240 actually. Not new ones. I carried a 240 Bravo in the middle of Iraq. Dude, it was pretty fun.
I heated a 60 barrel up so hard one time you could see the rounds going through it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
All right, I'm gonna restart the stream really quick, just so because it's got like 5 minutes left. So I'll send you guys the thing.
All right.
All right. Saying it's funny that like a lot of people in HEX lift weights and have worked with guns quite a bit, and it's like it's kind of like Bitcoin-esque, because you don't see that shit in Ethereum. Like it's just not it's not in their ecosystem. But in Bitcoin and HEX, it's like it's about bodybuilding and guns.
Show them HEX. Yeah. Show them HEX.
These bad boys.
Strong hands, baby. Strong hands.
Strong hands. That's how I practice my strong hands. What's that? Keto. I've been doing try to do keto. Man, it's so hard with the pregnant wife. Pregnant wife, she always wants to eat just nonsense. So it's just like, all right. Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm gonna make this. I'm like, all right, whatever. Just make it. So after she, in a couple months after the baby's born, for sure.
Yeah, so, I'm into watching your macros now versus keto. Keto's good for dropping a lot of weight quickly, but the macros thing is where it's at when it comes to building and gaining. Once you get down to your target weight, then you can run your macros, and everybody's got their own. So keeps you optimum.
Yeah, I think I'm really happy with a lot of the stuff that I couldn't have predicted. So I'm really happy with how the community's turned out. I'm really happy with how the exchange, like Uniswap existing, has turned out. I like somebody built meta transactions already. Awesome. Thanks. There's just so much shit that's happening on its own that nobody has to kind of like force, that I love it. I really couldn't have predicted all that stuff would happen.
Let me say something to you, Richard, about the community. I've been in a lot of different communities in my day, and I've been in a lot of crypto communities too. But getting to know people on a personal level, with the show that we've been doing and talking to people in private and stuff. I mean, this is a strong fucking community right here. I mean, you've got some people that are, not only are they smart, but they're good people that are involved in this. I mean, I'm really impressed with the community as far as the depth of personality and the character that the HEX community has.
Well, smart. There's some smart fuckers in the community, man. There's a dude named Nanand that posts in chat. Love his posts. Smart as fuck. Crypto Coffee. Love his posts. He makes great videos. Like Kyle's great. There's so many people.
Have you seen that Adrian Eisen guy? Have you seen?
Yeah, he's fun to watch. Yeah.
He doesn't. We try to reach out to him to get him on stream or anything, but he does not respond to any of our which is fine. That's fine. I get it. But we're like, man, we're trying to get you on, bro. Trying to get you on here. But
I'm always messaging or whatever on the commenting every time he puts something out, but he doesn't really respond to that either. I think he either restreams it from his DTube or something. I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe we should hit him up on DTube.
And this is just the beginning still. I mean, we're talking about 6-month-old coin. So cool.
Yeah.
So fucking
6 months.
Yep.
Dude, 6 months ain't shit.
Yeah, especially in cryptocurrency. Financial. Yeah.
I'm excited.
And to be sitting where we're at. Woo.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I mean, imagine if CoinMarketCap stops the tomfoolery and sticks us where we belong. I think it's going to make a big difference. You know? And what if, like, there's this dude, Conrad Zen. I don't know anything about him, but I like his videos. I see him, you know, rolling in a Rolls Royce with a driver talking about HEX, you know?
He's coming on Discourse. He's going to come on Discourse here in the next week or so.
Yeah. So imagine we get some more dudes like that reaching out into the real world, talking about, hey, look, I'm baller, and this is how. So check it. You know, that could be great. There's so much. There's so many cool things that are left untapped for HEX that I'm excited to see if they can happen and what they look like if they do. You know.
Yeah.
Like you guys earlier were talking about the XRP army. I don't see any reason we can't have something bigger. You know.
Oh, easy.
We have a working product. Like their dream was, oh, we're gonna get the banks. They never got the banks. They never got them. That's still the shit they talk about. Well, our dream fulfilled. It's like, yeah, we're trustless interest. Look, people are making trustless interest right now. It's just working now. It's done. There's no roadmap. There's no fucking team. It's finished. It's working now. So, like, I mean, think about it. Like, somebody could EOS put up a billboard in Times Square. Somebody just put up a billboard in Times Square for Ross Ulbricht. It's not that far a stretch to imagine somebody would put up a billboard.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Michael.
Hey,
I don't know, Richard. Can't hear Richard though.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Actually, when I asked you to send a link, I was actually in the chat just watching you guys. I was expecting to just watch you guys. I wasn't expecting to get on the damn show. So hey guys, listen, I got a Zoom call that I got to take in 4 minutes. So I just wanted to be able to check back in after I was on my Zoom call if you guys were still going. So all right, hey man, I just want to say hey. 12 more hours. Okay, well maybe I'll check back in. Hey, Richard. Right. Hey Richard, I just wanted to be able to say to you, thanks for what you've done, brother. We're all on the team, man. All right.
Thank you, man. Thanks for playing along.
For sure, man. We'll see you soon.
Later.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Michael.
All right, guys. Bye.
I'm probably gonna head off in a bit too. If anybody's got any questions or something. Poor Hexa, 24-hour stream. Crazy, man. I mean, I did an 8-hour stream. That was enough. 24 hours. Fuck.
No,
I'll be here with you, brother.
All right.
I won't let you
can keep it brief.
Do we have any questions
from chat?
From chat?
I have a chat question.
All right.
Or any of you guys. I mean, you know me, man. I'll answer anything.
Let's see.
Is Bitcoin good?
I don't know what that is. Maybe that means USD. I mean, USD is great when everybody's trying to get cash. But it's like over time, it just becomes worth less and less and less. So these monetary contraction periods are like few and far between, like once every 10 years. So you kind of got to be in assets are how you store your real value. And if you guys like the stuff I say, you really should read my books. They're free. Download them. t.me/Sci-Vive. It's got a lot of great stuff that I even forgot I knew. So all the stuff that's in there, I read it and I'm like, damn, that's good stuff. Oh, this is my own. Oh,
Serena's doing an audiobook.
I got an editor going through and actually fixing it up to make it more like a publishable book that we can go and publish into the real world in hard copy and such. I think he's done with like 3 chapters so far. So
cool.
I'm just gonna have him finish it, because it's more than enough for several books. So we might turn it into like a several book kind of thing. Yeah, because it's like 500,000 fucking words or something. Some retarded level of words. It's either like 275 or 475K. So it's your first book should be about 75K. So there's way too much content there basically. So it needs to be split into different books. And I might be able to cull some of the more complicated shit out of there. Some of it's just too complicated for people, I pull some of that out. So what do we got for chat?
Let's see.
Because I'm going to go after I answer it.
Hoorah.
Let's see. A room for project on top of... Is there room for projects on top of HEX? Yeah, of course.
There's tons of projects being built on Hex. I don't even keep track of them. So Michael that was in here earlier is involved with Hex.business. I don't even understand all the things they do. Apparently they have an app that works that lets you refer people by QR code. That's cool. They've got their own token they built into it called HXY. Not exactly sure how that works.
Oh, lagged out again, Richard. Use a brand or skip escape.
So look at all those things, and there's new things coming out all the time. So, you know, Trayvon James launches, he's got like 5 or 6 different tokens built on top of Hex. I only know maybe one of them does. Then some shrimp thing came out, and this Hex 3D came out and failed because they didn't develop it right, which is why I've never played any of these games. I've never used any of them. You know, I like to see people's financial value put into things that have been audited and are secure and are trustless and peer-to-peer and don't have any human intervention. That's, if I had my druthers, how everything would be. But a lot of people has a different risk profile, and they really want to play around with different things and are happy to risk some capital to do that. And for those people that have those belief systems, you know, these other things that are built on top of Hex, they could be fun to play with, right? So people like lossless lotteries and people like weird time games and like, you know, people like that stuff. Okay, well, have fun, build it. And you've got, you know, like the one thing that I know about that I thought was really cool. So Trayvon built one of those hourglass based games that you locked your Hex in the real contract through it. And then no matter how shitty the game turned out, at least you got real Hex locked in the real contract. Yeah, so that I saw as innovation, you know? But I don't want to become an expert on all these things. I'm focused on other stuff, you know? So if you want to learn about those things, you're going to have to learn about them yourself, because I don't know about them. I can't tell you. I don't like, there's just, can you like imagine how shitty it would have been for me to like learn a lot about some game and then the game just launches and fails because of they left a dev backdoor in there. And it's like, I want to learn about this. What a waste of my fucking time that would be. Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can build, man. To build, get to it. Programmable money. It's really, you can program a Hex, you can build on Hex, and people are being very successful and making money doing it. So you should give it a try.
Somebody asked, who do you think Satoshi Nakamoto is?
I think Satoshi Nakamoto is an English academic that writes sloppy academic style code. He's intelligent and likely a gold bug. He was on or closely related to the Cypherpunks mailing list. So there's maybe only 200 or 300 people in the world that it could be. It's not Adam Back, who isn't even a developer. It's not Craig Wright, who's just a habitual liar and not a developer. It's not, I don't think it's the guy that went to jail for his drug selling activities, but helped author TrueCrypt, because the theory there is that he wrote Bitcoin to help bill for his pharmacy websites, but to the best of my knowledge, none of those pharmacy websites ever accepted Bitcoin, so that doesn't make any sense. So I don't think it's a team. I think it's a single guy. So you can do timing analysis on when he posted and language analysis on the way he spelled certain words, and the 2 dots after the period, things like that land you with an older academic in the UK with a day job. Probably who it is. It's all, but who really gives a fuck? Because I think he's dead now because he never moved his money, and living people tend to move their money.
Yeah. Very true.
So, Rich, what are you studying right now? What are you doing with your time? Hex is done, so I know you're done with it. So, what are you doing? What are you looking at? What's got on your mind?
Even though Hex is done, I am very addicted to the ecosystem. So it's like, okay, Uniswap V2 came out. Well, how does that work? Let's understand it, And if you want to build on top of Uniswap V2, right, how do you implement the time waiting, and how do you how could you utilize that flash swap function? So there's still a ton of learning that goes on. Mm-hmm. And it's like even knowing about those games existing and being able to answer some of these questions, it just seems like there's so much to read about and consume. You never, like, there's so many things I want to do that I've never had a chance to. Like, I'd like to know these whales that are buying in, how much bigger are their stacks that they haven't deployed yet? How much more are they sitting on? I'd like to know that. And then I'd be curious, like, if people emergency end stake, is there a standard amount of time before their end stake is sellable, and do they insta dump? And is that something that you could time? You're like, oh, emergency end stakes. All right, well, let's sell the price down. You know, shit like that. Just trader stuff. Like, you're just curious how the market works, you know? Right. Because in a normal market, you don't have a warning before somebody's going to dump. But HEX, you do. Like, if it's the case that when people emergency end stake, they dump, you're like, hey, guess what? You just got a fucking 10-minute head start.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to, you could even build your own application that, like, rolled that into a single transaction where you could, like, end stake and sell at the same time in the same transaction to, like, not let people front run you. There's all this amazing shit that can be built in HEX that doesn't exist yet. I'm still learning. So I invented HEX, and I'm still learning about how it works, because there's all these emergent properties that they're very, very interesting to me. What else? You know, people are messaging me all the time about things they're building. So there's people that just finished the meta transactions that let you send HEX with just HEX and no Ethereum. There's other people that message me talking about how they're doing the Tornado Cash fork that supports HEX. There's other people that message me telling me that they're doing margin trading stuff for HEX. And it's kind of a full-time job to just know what's going on. I mean, it's like, it's a lot of shit going on. A lot.
For real. Like, I don't even see half of probably what you get to see. And it's like, I mean, just the comment section and on the HEX Telegram, and just knowing what's going on and trying to decipher if it's good, if it's bad, if you got these bad actors. I mean, even RG3, you know, we're trying to talk to other people, but yeah, it's a full-time job knowing what's going on in the environment. You wouldn't think that it is, but it really is. Like, you got to know. Yeah. And not only that, but you got to know your stuff. You got to know the share, you know, what shares are, you know, all everything on the layman's guide. Plus, and that's a full-time job, trying to know everything in that layman's guide. It sounds easy, but man, it's like that's like a college course. You know, they should be a legit college course.
It's particularly hard when you don't know English well, too. So.
There's stuff I'd love to do. Like, I'd like to make a shares video that's like, hey guys, here's a jar of marbles. This is the profit for the shareholders. And here's the jar of marbles that shows who's got shares. And then here's your little jar. And then, you know, your little jar is this percentage of this jar. And so then you get that percentage of this thing. Like, I want, you know, like, it'd be nice to do something like that. Or I'd like to look at these whales and see how much bigger their stacks are. There's so much shit to do. Like, the website itself.
What about this, Richard? When, you know, crypto's done a shitty job of advertising to the general public. You know, obviously Bitcoin doesn't do it. I mean, just by word of mouth. Have you looked into marketing techniques? Like, how is crypto going to get its adoption, its real adoption to the general public versus people following in
the same way the scams did? So there's been very, very, very successful multi-billion-dollar scams that sold people fake cryptocurrency. You do the same shit, but sell them a real cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on it. I don't know how the Plus token guys got all their fucking users, and I don't know how the Cloud token guys got all their users, and I don't know how these fucking other Ponzi's that are spamming up the goddamn ETH chain, making the fees too high, getting their fucking users. But they're getting them somewhere, and they're getting them somewhere that I can't tell because I don't see their ads. So wherever those fuckers are advertising, it'd be cool if someone put a HEX ad right next to them and beat their ad, because our price performance is better than theirs. Our security is better than theirs. Our project is done. We should be out competing and shitting on those people where they're getting their users. So I wish someone would fucking let me know, like, hey, where are the ads for those motherfuckers? Where are they getting their users? Yeah. Because their users are getting robbed by those scams. Maybe they would prefer something better.
Yeah, I found that, like, selling HEX or telling people about HEX is a lot easier to people, to no coiners, than it is to actual cryptocurrency people, because they understand, like, oh, I get more, and they're not so jaded by cryptocurrencies that they're like, you're just a scam. Like they actually come into it with an open mind that like you're gonna help them out, and you know if they somewhat trust you, or you know I think that the burning they got burned so bad in 2017 that you know on the ICOs that anything right now is just, that's why you see Ian Bellina, you know, he used to be I don't know about ICO, but he was the shill king for all of these you know real shit coins. And like now he's a Bitcoin maximalist. It's like
everyone is now, which makes me want to go the other way.
Yeah,
Everyone is a Bitcoin maximalist now.
Me too.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think that means?
Yeah.
It means that they've emptied their bags, they emptied their wallets, and they don't have enough dry powder to buy anymore. Yep. And they sold whatever else they had. So whatever they did have, they reduced. They don't have sell pressure to sell anymore. And it's like you look at the ETH BTC chart, and it looks like it could go up. You know, like, yes, it's a faster, superior product that's more secure and has more features. And so in an ideal world, ETH would be more valuable than Bitcoin. And right now it's not. It's 10% the value of Bitcoin. So, you know, there's a chance that Ethereum, the ETH BTC pair, could see a lot of gain, you know, and it hasn't had its futures moment yet because I haven't listed it yet. So it could pump for a CME list like Bitcoin did. So like, you know, there's potential there. Now, guess what? The HEX price and the Ethereum price are related, very tightly related, because the liquidity in Uniswap, that $10 million of liquidity that's sitting there, binds the two together. And so if no one else ever performed a trade, the fact that you could always swap your HEX for Ethereum right there, it makes it so that the prices move together. Now we've outperformed like 92x or 85x or something over Ethereum in the last 6 months, some window, like 4 of the 6 months or something. But it's good to know. It's like I'd rather have the dominant trading pair for HEX be the ETH pair in this macro environment than the BTC pair, right? Because I think ETH has more potential and is a superior product.
Do you think it would harm the crypto space as a whole if ETH flipped Bitcoin?
No, I don't think it'd be good. You'd have people with faster transactions and more powerful network, better mining ecosystem, more friendly. Hard as that is to believe, they are more friendly. Yeah, I think that would be good for the world. Now you would want to see more ATMs support ETH, because right now they just kind of support Bitcoin. But I mean, really, what percentage of the ecosystem is the ATM? 2%, 1%, you know, pitiful amount. ETH's got anonymity on it. Yeah, like I think the world would be a better place if ETH flipped Bitcoin. And I think it'd be better still if HEX flipped ETH and Bitcoin. Why not?
Damn straight.
Yeah. It's got superior game theory to both. It's got superior price performance to both. It's got a superior feature set to both. Most of the value in an ecosystem accrues at the endpoints. And so Ethereum to HEX is just a dumb pipe. Yep. All the actual buying and holding that accrues the value happens at the endpoint, which is HEX itself. You know, people that are building all these things on top of HEX, they're not building them on top of ETH. They could, but they're choosing not to. So all those games that you see built on top of HEX, they could have been built on top of ETH, but they didn't. They use HEX as their inputs. And that's interesting to me. I didn't predict that would happen, but it did. Yeah. You know, I just kind of predicted people would do normal kind of DeFi stuff with HEX as the input. I didn't expect there to be a gaming ecosystem built on top of HEX, but it happened. It's like, fuck. Cool. And I didn't know that would happen. Like, no idea that would happen.
Toucan Air came out what, a month after we released? It was quick.
Fast.
It was quick. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I had no idea that would happen.
Yeah, it was really quick.
I think people, they don't understand the way that value accrues and stratifies in an ecosystem and an economy, and it usually happens at the endpoints. Your cable company brings Netflix to you, and Netflix is worth more than your cable company. Your internet service provider brings Amazon's website to you, but Amazon is worth more than your internet service provider. Amazon ships packages to you through the post office, but Amazon is worth more than the post office. The value accrues at the end points, not the pipe in the middle, which is why Tether transactions, which are the most common transactions of all on the internet, I think they're a third of all Ethereum transactions. Tether transactions used to run only on the Omni network, which used to run only on Bitcoin. And Tether was a multi-billion-dollar project. Guess how much Omni's worth? $1 million. Does $200 or $300 of volume a day. $300 of volume a day. The price of an expensive dinner of volume a day. So a very valuable thing, Tether, operated on a substrate which derived no value from it whatsoever. So Omni did not benefit from empowering the most commonly used cryptocurrency in quotes in the world. And so that is proof that HEX can operate on top of Ethereum, and HEX can be amazing, and the Ethereum value itself is kind of, doesn't have to pump with HEX. It's good talking to you guys.
Yay. Yeah, thank you, Richard, for coming on, man. It's been,
I just think it was good to see you not having to take a ration of shit.
It's rare. I'm not even used to it.
I think you do really good though, man. I don't know how you keep
fucking saying,
I don't know how you keep it together, man. Because I would either just exit scam the stream. I'd just be like, dude, F off, man. I don't want to do this. I don't know how
I got your address now, bitch. I'm coming for you.
I can't believe that guy.
I don't think that guy gave his real address at all.
Yeah, he was
I really do not think he gave his real address at all.
No,
I do not think he lives in London at all.
No.
Somebody on Twitter said, hey, I got his address. He only lives 40 minutes away from me.
What a piece of garbage. How are you going to offer to so this is against the terms of service. Offering money to deprive people of their privacy is against the terms of service of almost everything on the internet. Doxing people is not allowed. And so he's offering money to dox, and it's like, what the fuck? You realize crypto people do get killed. There are crypto rich people that have been fucking tortured and killed, and there are people that have been swatted and shit. And you're like, why would you think it's okay to do that? Yeah, it's not okay to do that. It's the opposite of okay. It's so not okay that it's against the terms of services. But he's so dumb. I'm a certified lawyer. I don't know who certified you, man.
Somebody said they looked up all of the lawyers in Israel and in London, and he was not on the bar. So it's
there you go. That doesn't surprise me at all, because lawyers don't say they don't say libelous and slanderous and defamatory things because they don't want to get fucking served and lose money over the deal.
There was another stream where there was a lawyer who wouldn't show his face, of course, on the stream. And he literally put a bounty out on HEX and was sick in the SEC on HEX.
Well, so did he.
And told everybody that they can get a bounty by going out and claiming against HEX.
Dude, the SEC already knows that HEX exists.
Of course they do.
Let them do their job. You guys spamming them and wasting their bandwidth is not helping them. Let them go. Do you know how many scammy, shitty things there are in crypto? Let them go fuck those things up. You're wasting their time. It's crazy.
And he was talking at an anonymity. Wasn't it an anonymity kind of conference?
The conference was called Anon, but he says that Anon doesn't really mean anonymity. And after I searched several different pages of the site, I can't find anything it could mean other than that, because it doesn't mean Austrian network something. There's no other place on the website that I can find anywhere where there's other reference to what Anon could mean other than its common definition of anonymous. So
yeah. And he's part of crypto. That's and if you are you're part of the crypto space, that's exactly what it means. I don't know where he's
whether the thing is named anonymous or Austrian network operators niceness or something. Who the fuck knows? That's not the part that matters. The part that matters is if you're gonna do your research, you better be right. How can you do your research and not read the white paper? How can you do your research and not read the disclaimer? How can you do your research and not know the difference between one level and multi-level? How you cannot
Yeah, he didn't even know what that was. He didn't even know that. He didn't realize that.
And then
I don't know if he didn't know if Hex was not a multi-level or if he just didn't know what a multi-level was.
Imagine being so prepared for getting your ass demolished verbally that you put on safety goggles and you're like, we're not going to talk about anything else in the industry. So no analogies, no industry standards. We're just no other coins. Okay, we're not going to talk about other coins.
Oh, that was great. And then he talks about the Ethereum. He just talks about Ethereum.
Right.
Yeah. What about
and then I call him stupid, and he's like, "No cursing." I'm like, calling you stupid, not cursing. You're stupid. Like cryptocurrencies were designed to move value.
It was totally scripted. He had no real comebacks. Everything was scripted. He was, strong and wrong.
And then you just demolished him as he just like looked into, he had the 1,000-yard stare at the last.
Yeah, I think at the end, he might have actually started to understand that he was wrong. Is the funny part? He's like,
oh, maybe.
Shit, this thing sounds pretty good.
How do I sign my Bitcoin? I need to claim.
What was that link again?
That's hilarious.
Send him a rough link.
Hey, everybody watching, listen. Hex is doing a 24-hour fucking stream here. Click his rough link. Show him some love.
Hell yeah.
Press like. Press subscribe. He works hard as hell, and he doesn't waste his money. He's a family man. Hook him up. It was really good talking to you guys.
Thank you.
I watch your content. I watch all of your guys' content, except FundingGym, because I think this is the first content he's made.
It's been a while.
He does message me.
We'll have him on now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you, man.
All right, take care, man. We'll see you, man. Hey, so Ministry of Hex, was it Ministry of Hex that said that? Where is it at? There was a
VZ Reality gave us 10 great stream, boys. Thanks, Hexo, RH, and crew. Thank you, VZ Reality, for the $10.
Who was bagging on my gogs? Where are they at?
Oh, dude. Where they at? I'm coming at them.
Please, can you call RG3 out on his sunglasses indoors? Star code.
Oh, here it is.
So check this out. Check this out. These are fucking spectacles. I need them to see.
Angry tonight. Spectacles. Yeah.
These are my spectacles.
Oh, it's FundingGym looking sleepy. Yeah, it was. We've been up for a long time. It's late.
I've got 1 hour work, so
I'm gonna
crash.
All right. Well,
can you guys hear?
We can hear you. Hey, take care at the FundingGym. It was nice seeing you, man.
Yeah, I'll see you again. Anytime you're doing a stream, I'll try and pop on.
Good talking to you, brother.
Right. Yeah, take care, FundingGym.
Take care.
Let's see. Get me on stream. Oh, Ministry of Hex. You want to get on stream? Sorry, guys. I haven't been.
Is he there?
Ministry of Hex. Oh, shit. Dude,